derby. He plays behind a back four of James Tavernier, John Souttar, who's come in with Ben Davies and Borna Barisic. In midfield, Nicola Raskin, the Belgian, Ryan Jack, with Todd Cantwell out wide right, Ryan Kent on the left, Malik Tillman, the United States of America international, in the number 10 role, and Alfredo Morelos, who's got 3 goals against Celtic in the past, will lead the line. You'll never walk alone illuminates the atmosphere and the noise at Celtic Park. The colours, do we even need to confirm them? The green and white hoops of Celtic, the blue, white and black of Rangers. The referee is Kevin Clancy. It's the first time he's taken charge of an Old Firm game here at Celtic Park, with VAR in use, of course, as we get underway. And Nicola Raskin will play it back to Tavernier. Rangers playing from right to left as we look down. The first sliding tackle of the day comes crunching in from Matt O'Reilly, and Celtic regained possession to a big cheer, but Morelos has picked it up for Rangers, coming over the halfway line, veering out into what he hopes is some space on the right wing, and he's immediately challenged by Greg Taylor, and the ball goes out for a throw-in to Rangers. Celtic 0, Rangers 0.
These first moments are incredibly important in this match, more so than most, because Celtic always start so quickly against Rangers, and every other team as well. It's high tempo, it's tackling, just as you said there. They want to get dominance of the ball early on, and they usually have the games won, even against Rangers, really before half-time whistle comes. They'll be trying to do that again today. It's up to Rangers to hold up to.
We can feel the vibrations in our seats through the stomping of feet. Celtic supporters who hope they are closing in, believe they are closing in on yet another Scottish Premiership title. There are 4 other games in the top flight today. They've all got 3 o'clock kickoffs. Aberdeen against Kilmarnock, Hearts host St Mirren, it's Motherwell against Livingston, and St Johnstone against Ross County. We'll keep you up to date with events in the Premier League as well. Manchester United against Everton, the early kickoff at Old Trafford, as Cameron Carter-Vickers brings the ball up to within 15 yards of the halfway line, and then under pressure from his fellow American Tillman, he turns and rolls it back to Joe Hart, the former England international goalkeeper who has started every league game this season. Carl Starfelt loses his feet on the edge of the penalty area, but he does get the ball back to Hart once again. And this Celtic team who've been so well drilled give it away. It's Aaron Moy releasing possession to Ryan Kent into the penalty area for Rangers, left hand side with the yellow boots, dancing over the ball, waiting for some support to come. Raskin provides it, but the cross then too close to Joe Hart, and Celtic regain possession once again. Great distribution. Hart out towards Maida on the left wing, who shows good strength to hold up the ball and roll it back to Greg Taylor. Celtic hoping that they can fall into their familiar attacking pattern, which has brought them such good fortune this season already. Jota onto Aaron Moy, crossing position on the right hand side, level with the edge of the penalty area. Celtic attack, he gives it back to Alistair Johnson, who made his Celtic debut against Rangers back in January, and now in field to Carter-Vickers once again. And Celtic with 1 or 2 misplaced touches, but in the main have looked nice and comfortable in these opening minutes at Celtic Park. Dyson Maida again, the 25-year-old Japanese international, held up on the edge of the penalty area by Todd Cantwell. The ball goes out for a Celtic throw. Pat Nevin.
It hasn't come down, but you don't expect it to come down this early on. I mean, these are 2 quite technical sides. You know, in times gone past, it hasn't always looked that way with Celtic Rangers games. You know, never mind the ball got on with the game, usually being the comment, but these are 2 decent technical sides with some good players. It's just if the good players can. Well, that's a poor play there.
That's a really poor pass by Cameron Vickers. Morelos was onto it. Hart had come 25 yards out of his penalty area, but it needed a sliding intervention from Carl Starfelt to get there ahead of Morelos. And it's more uncertainty for Celtic.
Yeah, and Hart came out there, and he didn't need to come out there. I mean, if he loses that there, it's a walk-in for Morelos. A couple of edgy moments in that back line at Celtic so far.
Even with the 9-point lead at the top of the table, Celtic displaying evidence of some nerves here. Throw in for the home side.
It's one of the things you mentioned earlier on, the fact that VAR will be in use today. A lot of people have been complaining it's not been used well in Scotland a number of times this season. However, if you're a Rangers fan, you should be quite pleased about it, because if there's no VAR, the pressure on the referee is extraordinary with none of your fans there.
Manchester United can move back above Newcastle today into third. Mas Faruqi is at Old Trafford. Underway, Manchester United against Everton.
Yeah, and a good start for Manchester United. Conor Sabitzer with a shot that was deflected wide of the left-hand post by Jordan Pickford for Manchester United's first corner. They're on the attack at the moment, Manchester United. Goalless though, Manchester United 0, Everton 0, 3.5 minutes played.
Thanks, man. Some big games this weekend. Liverpool host Arsenal tomorrow. Nothing bigger in Glasgow though than this meeting of Celtic and Rangers. Celtic in possession with Callum McGregor in the midfield. He looks up and picks out Aaron Moy, right hand side. Ahead of him is Jota, who's provided so many goals and assists for Celtic this season. Brings it to the byline, but another misplaced pass. Drones from the Celtic fans as it's given away again. Tillman tries to counter, and he's immediately shut down by Matt O'Reilly. Celtic get it back. Alistair Johnson on the right-hand side. Lovely ball in. Kyogo controls with the chest, finishes through the legs of the goalkeeper, but the flag is raised. It's not going to count. The Japanese striker was offside. He took it brilliantly, but the flag went up immediately from assistant David McGeechee down below us. Pat.
It just shows you the movement of Kyogo is absolutely exceptional. It did look about a yard offside, but the ball came to him. He had his back to the goal. He was at an angle. One touch and then put it in the back of the net through McGregor's legs. He wasn't to know he was offside. They will have had a look at that, and I think it's absolutely the right decision. We carry on.
Excellent finish from Kyogo Furuhashi, but he was offside. A let off maybe for Rangers. And free kick awarded to the visitors midway inside their own half. Glorious day here. Blue skies, blazing sunshine. Very different atmosphere outside, not the usual enormous police presence ahead of these games because there are no supporters. Celtic fans were enjoying the sunshine as they made their way into the ground today. John Suter takes the free kick, looking for Morelos on the edge of the penalty area. Wrestled off the ball by the strong Swede Carl Starfelt. Celtic should clear it away here with the Canadian Alistair Johnson on the right hand side. He's confident, gives it infield to Carter Vickers, low to the feet of Aaron Moy. Celtic play their way through the Rangers press and make it up to the halfway line with Greg Taylor. A poor pass again though, looking for Moy, cut out by Malik Tillman. Tillman then is challenged and loses his footing, and Celtic try to break into the penalty area left hand side, but the pass doesn't work its way through to Dyson Maeda. Tackles flying in all over the place. Celtic fans raucous, still 0-0.
Yeah, remember I talked to you about that technical play that you see all the time. Well, you do see the tackles as well. They are flying in just now. It's always a difficult one for any referee to do this game, but at the moment, Celtic are playing the way Celtic always do. But I'm quite impressed with the way Rangers went about this. They've been overrun in times gone past, particularly here at Celtic Park recently against an Ange Postecoglou side. That's not quite happening here yet.
You mentioned earlier on, Pat, how well Michael Beale has done this season since coming in. I mean, in most years, the points per game tally Rangers have at the moment would be enough to have you right there for winning the league. Cameron Carter-Vickers with a challenge of Morelos from behind that did look reckless. He came shooting through, and the referee is going to want to have a word with him. He's not reaching for the pocket, Kevin Clancy, but Cameron Carter-Vickers took a big risk there.
Yeah, well, we haven't got monitors here. He is getting the work done. And you come through from behind there. If you don't get the ball clean, you take a big chance, especially he goes to ground, he comes at real pace. It was difficult to see if he did catch much of Morelos, but Morelos will back up. He will be okay, but you don't want a yellow card this early in any game if you're a centre back.
Celtic have been shown the fewest number of yellow cards of all teams in the Premiership this season. The reserves team, the Celtic B, Rangers B sides met last week, and Rangers had 3 red cards. They finished with 8 men. Just a reminder of how these games can spill over. Aaron Moy plays a pass to Alistair Johnson where he's very little room to manoeuvre, and it's blocked away off Ryan Kenton out for a Celtic throw.
I think there haven't been as many sending offs recently in the main game, but it doesn't mean there's going to be any lack of talent tackling. For one man, Carter Vickers, you better be careful. There
was a run a while back where there were 7 red cards in 10 meetings, 4 of them for Rangers, 3 for Celtic, but no red cards shown in the last 8 meetings in all competitions. Joe Hart, wearing bright canary yellow, rolls it out short to Carl Starfelt. He comes through the midfield into Matt O'Reilly, who's played every league game this season for Celtic. Back to Carter Vickers, who scored against Rangers this month last year, hasn't scored in the league since. And Celtic held up in the midfield as it goes out for yet another throw-in just down below us. Johnson sends it back to Carter Vickers once more. Former Tottenham player, it's been at Bournemouth as well in the past. Here he is in possession once again. 12 caps for the USA. Cameron Carter-Vickers, barrel-chested central defender. Starfelt has it at a walking pace to his left. Gives it back to Carter-Vickers. Now Celtic go long, searching for Jota, who's made a run down the right wing with a pass, skips and hops away from him and goes out for a Rangers throw. Celtic 0, Rangers 0. We've played 10 minutes in Glasgow.
Maybe a slight surprise, but Celtic do get the ball, the two centre-backs. Nothing clean on in the middle, you know, and you expect maybe Jota or Maeda to come back, you know, into the kind of wide areas and collect the ball easily. But in actual fact, they've had to go long time and time again, and that's not really the Celtic way under Postecoglou. So another reason why Beale and Rangers will be quite happy with the start.
If Celtic win today and the next 4, they're guaranteed the title. Here is Maeda trying to get away from Tavernier. Left wing position for Celtic. The fullback blocks the attempted cross. And then Cantwell slides in. And the throw-in will be for Celtic. 10 yards from the corner flag that Celtic attacked down the left-hand side. Scoreless in Glasgow. Cameron Carter-Vickers in the centre circle. Low into the midfield to Callum McGregor. McGregor, who'd an own goal against Rangers 2 years ago. 2 years ago today, actually, that Callum McGregor put into his own net against today's opponents. Another throw in for Greg Taylor down the left-hand side. This one's level with the edge of the penalty area. And it's taken quickly to Matt O'Reilly, who's near the byline, hopping over the ball. Defenders trying to get a touch around him, but Cantwell, for all his enthusiasm and vigour, can't get a clean touch to steal it away, and eventually it goes out for a goal kick anyway for Alan McGregor, who'll hear the boos echoing in his ears.
You mentioned Cantwell there, and a player I really enjoyed watching it down at Norwich. The atmosphere at Norwich, with all the respect I can give you, isn't quite the same as it is here at Celtic Park all the time. And Cantwell's really up for it, isn't it? He's challenging and tackling and running after everything. You almost feel it saying to him, look, you're a good technical player. Slow down now and again. Yeah,
this is his first taste of playing here at Celtic Park for Todd Cantwell. He came on as a late sub in the League Cup final. Tillman trying to make his way into the penalty area, denied by strong defending from Alistair Johnson. Got his body in the way of the much physically bigger Malik Tillman, and then he just anchored himself into the turf, Alistair Johnson, and was able to clear the ball away.
Tell you what, Tillman does brilliantly. He's ran about 50 yards. He's got the ball on. He was fouled. His shirt was tugged back. Moy could have got a yellow card there had Tillman gone down. He didn't. He stayed on his feet. Rangers got the ball again.
Malik Tillman is on loan from Bayern Munich. Much discussion as to whether Rangers will be able to complete that transfer on a permanent basis through the summer. Ball ricocheted up onto the arm of Starfelt, but his hands were down by his side, and it was a ricochet just in front of him. Referee's happy for play to continue. Callum McGregor will bring it over the halfway line. We'll go for an update to the Premier League in just a moment. Let's see what Celtic do here with Maeda to the edge of the penalty area, left-hand side, turning in on his right boot. Then he gives a little back heel and a chance of a low shot that comes in from Callum McGregor and well held onto by his namesake Alan McGregor. So to Old Trafford, Manchester United against Everton. Here's Maz Farouki.
Still goalless, but Anthony has hit the left-hand post. The corner was fed to him from Bruno Fernandes. He took the shot on at the edge of the D. Pickford was nowhere near it, and then Manchester United couldn't get the rebound in either. So still goalless, but Manchester United well on top against Everton.
We'll have Premier League commentary of Leicester against Bournemouth at 3 o'clock and of Southampton against Manchester City at 5:30. That's all coming up here on 5 Live. A really busy day of live sport. We've 12 hours of live action right into the Gulf from Augusta later on tonight, as Cantwell with the socks down low comes attacking midway inside the Celtic half. He's got support outside him as Tavernier tries to flick it into the penalty area. Too many bodies in the way. Celtic repel, but Rangers hold on to possession on the halfway line. And Nicola Raskin, January signing from Standard Liège, plays a long crossfield pass out towards the left wing and Ryan Kent, but it's cut out by Johnson, and that's out for a Rangers throw. Pat Evans.
Yeah, but it's the first time that Tavernier's got forward. They didn't do the very best with it. And you look at the goal scoring, he is, I think he's either top goal scorer, second top goal scorer for Rangers, and he's the right fullback. They need to get more out of him, particularly in these Old Firm games. And at the moment, that was his first venture forward, and it didn't come to much.
Today is James Tavernier's 30th Old Firm game. He's got plenty goals, of course, from right back. He's got 2 against Celtic in his career. He's never scored in a league game here at this stadium. How he would love what he got a penalty the last meeting at Ibrox in January, the 2-2 game. James Tavernier, as Cantwell here rolls the ball back to John Souttar. Souttar, who scored against Celtic for his old club Hearts 2 years ago. Raskin on the halfway line. There's no room to take a breath, and made us into nip back possession. There'd been good work from Kyogo there in unsettling Rangers. Now maybe a chance for the visitors as Ryan Kent attacks the penalty area. Tillman on his left, one defender to beat, and Johnson's done well. Tillman tried a little trick to nudge his way past him, and Johnson kept his eye on the ball, and he's ushered it out for a goal kick.
Yeah, I think possibly Ryan Kent was looking for a free kick there. It was about 30 yards out. And again, that man Tavernier, he would have been interested. Fabulous from free kicks himself. Referee let the play go on, and Tillman's done well. He gets from that almost number 10 position forward time and time again.
If you're joining our coverage later, 0-0 Celtic against Rangers. Celtic have had the ball in the back of the net, but Kyogo Furuhashi was offside. Spotted by the assistant, confirmed by the video assistant referee, who's Nick Walsh today. Rangers have possession on the edge of their own penalty area. Souttar, header to Morales, then a clearance by Cantwell, but there's no one up on the halfway line for the visitors, and Starfelt can comfortably take it down. Callum McGregor drops into a hole and sends it out to the left wing. Craig Taylor is waiting, left-footed early delivery, headed by Ben Davis, the former Liverpool player. And Rangers haven't got it away here. Kyogo trying to create the opportunity for a shot, but it spills away from him. Now he's appealing. That was a back pass to Alan McGregor, and the referee says no.
Not a chance. Just looking at it just now, Souttar, he was the big news before the game, him coming in for Goldson. At the moment, he's played very well. The time he had to step up to catch Kyogo offside, he did so very well. The problem is you're playing against a player like Kyogo. You only need to switch off for a second, and you're in big trouble. And I was downstairs before the game, and there was a scout from a major Premier League club up here watching, and there was no doubt in my mind who was watching. He was up here to see Kyogo. He's hardly touched the ball yet, and the one touch he's had, well, 2, ended up in the net, even though he was offside.
He is the Premiership's top scorer this season. 20 league goals for Kyogo Furuhashi. Scored twice against Rangers in the League Cup final in February. Also scored in the last league meeting in January. He's the danger man. A game that Celtic have had the majority of possession in so far, but a few nervy looking errors at times have given opportunities to Rangers too.
It's a wee bit cleverer from Rangers than I've seen them before here. They've not been panicked.
Here comes McGregor. Good one from Callum McGregor for Celtic. Gives it to Jota, number 17 on his back. That's a lovely jink. Shot is powerful and saved by Alan McGregor. There was real venom and momentum behind that effort from Jota. And that's a deep breath for 41-year-old Alan McGregor. He acrobatically propelled his body in the air and pushed the shot away.
He got plenty of pace in it. What Jota does, he can go down the line. Why he's very good and why he has a real effect in most games, he can go right and he can go left. Doesn't matter which wing he's on. On this occasion, there was an underlap again. Usually the underlap it comes from Alistair Johnston. In this case, it was Aaron Moy, and that created the space for him to come in. He only needs half a yard. Great power, but it was straight at McGregor.
Here is the Croatian, born of Barisic. Plays it long, left-footed, down the left wing for Rangers, where Johnson wins the header, but Morelos, who's sharp, manages to nip in and get possession back down on the deck for the visitors. Here comes Raskin through the middle of the midfield, supported by Ryan Jack. Now out to Tavernier on the right wing. Taylor just backing away from him. Knows that Tavernier's got a trick or two. Raskin collects again. This is just outside the penalty area that Rangers are attacking. Right hand side, no goals in the Old Firm derby here at Celtic Park. Tavernier now with a chance to look up, but he doesn't send the long cross. Just gives a little prod ahead towards Cantwell. Cantwell's challenged by Starfelt, and the ball goes out for a Rangers throw.
And they look so much different when Tavernier's up there. You know, just like most full-backs now, they want to almost play in the wing as often as they can, but he has to develop a better understanding with Cantwell. When they work together, they're two very good players and they can be dangerous. Cantwell,
who got his first goal for Rangers against Motherwell last month, and Rangers have managed to turn that throw in into a corner on the right hand side. Set piece opportunity. Ben Davis makes his way forward. John Souttar, who's a A fine specimen of a central defender, very obvious targets to aim for. And apart from Kyogo, who stayed up on the halfway line, Celtic have got everyone back to defend this. Corner out in the sunshine, right hand side as Rangers come forward.
They're all blocking Hart there so he can't come out.
There's a flurry of players inside the 6-yard box. Keeper can't move. Ball is headed in. Morelos scores, but there's been a push in there. He was away celebrating. He was running to the corner flag. It was a good finish, but there had been a push on a defender in front of him in the build-up, spotted by the referee Kevin Clancy, and we've now had a disallowed goal at both ends.
Yeah, just the way it came in there. I mean, the keeper wasn't getting near it, and where he's given it against the push in the keeper, I mean, honestly, thought it was. I have to say, I didn't see a lot wrong with it, but the referee was very, very quick. He just thought, he felt there'd been a push, and I was trying to see who it come off. I thought it would come off as an own goal almost, but the referee's happy that his decision's right, and so is VAR. Yeah,
Nick Walsh, the video assistant referee, confirms the goal is disallowed. That's brought a cheer from the Celtic fans, as you can imagine. We don't have the benefit of action replay monitors here in our position here at Celtic Park, but we're hearing confirmation. Yeah, no foul on the.
There was no foul on the. Yeah, it was as you suggested right away. It was Morelos, wasn't it?
Yeah. So Morelos pushing the defender. That's the reason, not a foul on the goalkeeper. So goal disallowed. So Morelos at one end, Kyogo at the other, both finding the back of the net. But this game for now remains Celtic 0, Rangers 0. Celtic striding towards their 53rd title in the club's history. Let's go back to Old Trafford. Manchester United against Everton is the lunchtime game. Maz Faruqi.
Still goalless. Remember, Manchester United have hit the post, but Ellis Sims should have done a lot better with the chance he's just had at the other end. He didn't get enough power on it. It just went wide of David De Gea's right-hand post, but Sean Dyche on the touchline had his head in his hands. Manchester United 0, Everton 0.
There's very much two teams here in Glasgow who are each on a 10-game winning run. Celtic haven't lost any of their last 23 in the league. And as good as Rangers have been, they've just not been able to keep up with Ange Postecoglou's side through this campaign. I mean, Michael Beale, his points average per game, 2.86 points. I mean, that's ridiculously good.
Yeah. That is fantastic. By the way, I've just had another look at the penalty kick there, and the free kick was given away in the disallowed goal. Do you know what? Without VAR, if the referee hadn't spotted that, it wasn't huge. And even before Morelos did a drag back, he was being pulled himself with shot. So I think Celtic got a little bit lucky there.
Yeah, could be one that we hear Michael Beale's opinion on later on in these games, and this game in particular, which has been tight in the early stages. Those small margins can make a big difference. Pat's got the replay up on his phone, and we're getting to see it. I mean, tell you what,
I tell you, Celtic have got very lucky there. There's many a time you get away with that as a centre forward, especially if you're getting a little bit as well. Oh, possible pass back there by the Rangers. McGregor didn't seem to think so. He picked it up.
The referee is happy with that. Voice of derision, as you'd expect from the Celtic fans. 0-0 midway through the first half now. Tavernier tries to come out of defence, but well anticipated by Greg Taylor, who nips in and makes the interception. Celtic get it back. Moy rolls it to the two central defenders once again. The two coaches are down there in their suits today. No tracksuit managers in Glasgow for this one. This is Maeda trying to pick out his Japanese colleague Kyogo on the edge of the penalty area, but too many Rangers defenders back there, and they're able to clear it away. Rangers sitting deep, particularly when they don't have the ball. They haven't gambled too much in a high press today. They don't want to allow gaps for Celtic to exploit in behind. There's a poor touch from Daizen Maeda, puts it out for a Rangers throw.
Yeah, it hasn't been Celtic's most fluid game. Many times in the past you see her flying down one wing, then the other wing, and it's pace all the time. They've tried to do that against Rangers, but Rangers have been very well organised. And you've got to see Raskin coming in back from injury, and Jack, he's sitting back in there, killing a lot of space that Celtic like to play in. And of course, on top of that, Suter coming in so far hasn't put a foot wrong.
And Michael Beale, who's had the best start of any Rangers manager since Ali McCoist. And if he wins today, he'll overtake McCoist's record of being unbeaten in his first 15 league games in charge. Good interception by Barisic. Pressure on Raskin, but he does a little drag back away from it, and then eventually the ball is cleared away by Ben Davis, Morelos, it bounced up onto his arm. Referee's happy. Play on. The last Rangers manager to go unbeaten in their first 16 league games was Alex McLeish, and the longest ever back in the 1960s, Davy White, who was unbeaten in his first 25 league matches as Rangers manager. But Michael Beale so far has done everything he can as Maida comes in the attack down the left-hand side, taking on Tavernier. Cantwell comes across to help. Maida tries to get on the end of a 1-2 with Taylor. Has to play it back to Starfelt midway into Rangers territory. Taylor makes himself available again. Maida with a lovely touch to control a ball that was slightly wide of him. Sun beaming down onto the players, slightly in the eyes of the Celtic players as they come forward. As Jota wide on the right wing, rolls it in front of Aaron Moy. Moy will try to take on Raskin, gets to the byline, swings in across, which deflects for what Celtic hope was going to be a corner, and the officials say no, goal kick. 0-0.
Tough one to call. Both players went in at the same time there, and if it is a tough one to call and it's a 50-50, it always goes to the defenders there. But a little bit of pressure again, but I think Celtic will be disappointed that, you know, the players they expect to do the really good stuff like Maida's not really been at his best on the left hand side, and Jota, he's been fairly well marshalled so far as well on the right.
The 87th Masters continues later on live from Augusta. They've had terrible weather over there. You can hear all about it on 5 Live and BBC Sounds through the weekend. Coverage at 9 p.m. this evening from 8 p.m. tomorrow as well. And you can watch in-play clips on the BBC Sport website, which is worth looking out for the best of the action there too. 0-0 here at Celtic Park. Celtic on the attack. Good touch by O'Reilly in the penalty area. Pulls it back. Kyogo! Wonderful swivel and shot. Right-footed into the bottom of the net. He was about 8 yards out, and Rangers won't going to stop him from there. Celtic on their way to the title in Scotland, their 53rd title in the top tier. Is the gap stretching to 12 points today? It's Celtic 1, Rangers 0. It's the Premiership's top scorer, Kyogo Furuhashi.
Well, I reckon Kyogo Furuhashi has had 4 touches today. 2 of them have ended up in the back of the net. First one obviously was called offside, but you know, he's got back to the goal, the ball's away from him. His first touch just kills the pace of the ball, and you know he's going to swivel it. You know he's going to get it on target. The keeper's going to have to do something special to stop it. Not a hope in the world, and well, that scout I seen before the game, he'll be hugely impressed, because once again, the words I said to him, you won't find many strikers with better movement in the British game today than Kyogo Furuhashi. Take your eye off him for a second and you're in trouble.
Yeah, strikers, you can have movement, you can have touches, you can be involved in the build-up, but they'll always be ranked on their goals, and that's now 24 goals this season in all competitions for Kyogo. Celtic Park is rocking. The green smoke plumes bellowing in the gentle breeze as Tillman tries to come on the attack for Rangers. His pass is in front of Todd Cantwell, and we could go back to Old Trafford for the latest of Manchester United against Everton with Maz Farouki.
Still goalless, but another great couple of chances for United. Fernandes with a lovely ball to Anthony on the right. He made the run into the area. He should have fed in Rashford, but he opted to take the shot on himself as they go on the attack again. And Pickford blocking a Rashford chance at that point. Pickford being kept very, very busy, the England number 1 at the moment. Still Manchester United 0, Everton 0, 27 minutes on the clock.
Thanks, Maz. Leicester against Bournemouth, the 3 o'clock commentary on 5 Live. We will bring you all the action. Southampton against Manchester City at 5:32. Tomorrow there are 2 Premier League games on 5 Live. Leeds against Palace at 2, and a big one at Anfield. Liverpool against Arsenal. That's the 4:30 game. Here in Glasgow, Celtic have got the breakthrough. Reward for their early pressure. The goal from Kyogo. Celtic 1, Rangers 0. Rangers without Connor Goldson. And now an even steeper mountain to climb as Tavernier comes on the attack down the right-hand side. Gives it short to Ryan Kent. Kent, who scored against Celtic in the last league meeting back in January. Tillman with an opportunity. Shoots just inside the penalty area. Kept it low, kept it powerful, but it flashed across the face of goal and wide.
Yeah, with Celtic not being at their absolute best, still find themselves 1-0 up. And they don't often lose from positions like this, Celtic. However, Rangers try to react as positively as they can. But if they lose another goal before half-time, it'll just feel like Groundhog Day against Celtic, because it happens very regularly with Rangers. They get seen off in the first half, and it's just too big a mountain to climb.
No away fans inside the ground. Celtic supporters gleefully celebrating the events, and they'll cheer everything now, every throw-in, every free kick decision. Now they'll go nuts because it's gone the other way. They all thought that was going to be a Celtic throw. Rangers throw, attacking down the left-hand side. Morelos, who's had the ball in the back of the net when this match was still at 0-0, controversially disallowed. How that might have changed the trajectory of things, but as it stands, Celtic lead by the goal to 0. Here is the Colombian giving the ball away. Left wing position for the visitors, Rangers. Matt O'Reilly back helping out the defence, wins the ball and challenged by Morelos. He sees it out for a goal kick, which Joe Hart takes immediately. Party atmosphere amongst the Celtic supporters. Aaron Moy, short ball in front of Alistair Johnson, his 11th league appearance for Celtic. What a ball that is in front of Jota, down the right wing, in a race to the byline. He gets there first, swings it across, nearly an own goal. One central defender off another, and it could have gone into the back of the Rangers net. And very fortunately for Alan McGregor, it popped into his gloves.
Yeah, the brilliant balls, you say, right down there. Jota has to take it first time, puts a horrible ball for defenders in there. Sitter does the right thing, Burritt catches his teammate, almost within the net.
Cantrell's given it away, Jota shoots, McGregor parries, and he pushes it out of the penalty area. The game has gone up a notch in terms of pace and intensity since the goal. Cantrell has had a good game, but that was a dreadful pass, and he gave away the shooting position to Jota. McGregor acrobatically leaping to his left, managed to push it clear, but Celtic remain on the attack down the left-hand side with Greg Taylor. Back to the centre circle, Cameron Carter-Vickers. Celtic supporters much louder now, almost like there was a little nervous trepidation until they got their noses in front, but now you can feel the relief.
Well, this feels like Celtic now. This feels the way they play when they're at their best. Tails are up now, but they don't say we've gone one goal up, we'll take it easy. No, they press the accelerator. That's what they do under Postecoglou. And just looking back at the goal itself, I mean, it sums up what Celtic do. It's the fullback gets to the byline. They've got such a positive attitude of everyone that possibly can get forward, and they've got exactly what they wanted at the end of it, and they've now got a free kick in a dangerous area.
There is a smell of sulphur in the air from the pyrotechnics that have been released. Free kick is played into the penalty area. Under some pressure, Ben Davis nods it away, and out for a throw into Celtic down the right-hand side. No time to waste for Alistair Johnson. Celtic have got a little taste of blood here. They want to build on it, but as Moy gave it back to him, Johnson unable to control, and what was a Celtic attacking throw-in becomes a Rangers defensive throw. Barisic to Davis, hounded by Kyogo, and Rangers have been penned in at the moment, much to the glee of Celtic support.
Yeah, Kyogo's there, he's trying to lift them as well. He doesn't need to lift them much. I mean, they're all singing just now anyway, but it just shows you the difference in Kyogo. And since we first seen him here, you know, he seemed like a shy lad. He come in, he is now at godlike status with the Celtic fans.
Goal came midway through the first half. Not an early goal today. The earliest ever in an Old Firm match was Chris Sutton scoring after 19 seconds back in 2002. You can hear Chris along with Robbie Savage later on this evening for 6:06 here on 5 Live. That's after the Southampton-Manchester City game. So around 7:30 tonight here on 5 Live. Your chance to get involved. I'm sure plenty of Celtic fans will be wanting to do so if it stays like this. Celtic 1, Rangers 0. Kent can't control. Ball goes out just down below us for a Celtic throw-in in the sunshine. Alistair Johnson sends it back to Cameron Carter-Vickers, so there's space in a more central location for Carl Starfelt. He spreads it out wide to the left wing to Dyson Maeda. Maeda to within 10 yards of the Rangers penalty area. Cantwell veers in close to him. Maeda turns and retreats. Celtic have it back with the two central defenders once again. Celtic, who were Premiership champions last season, they finished 4 points clear of Rangers in the end. But this time round, the gap is now, as it stands, 12 points. Celtic on the verge of making it 11 league titles in the last 12 years. Starfelt, 10 yards into Rangers territory. Tillman comes across to try and pick the pocket of Greg Taylor, but there's a foul, I think, by Cantwell on Taylor. And that's a free kick to Celtic, which they've taken already. Aaron Moy, the Australian. Pass slightly behind Johnson. Keeps it alive though, up to Jota, whose first touch is lovely. Now Aaron Moy will come forward, looks for the run of Kyogo, who gets it to the byline right hand side. He's dragged Davis out of the middle. Kyogo tries to return it to Moy. What a clever idea, but it just runs in front of him and through to McGregor, the Rangers goalkeeper. Celtic playing some good stuff at the moment.
They are, and Jota's moment there, you can see how different that sort of player is when they've got confidence. They're a goal up, there's a little bit more space for them. Jota's take there was fantastic. I have to think Kyogo's pass was even better. And he's running away from goal. He's got eyes in the back of his head. He knows what everybody is. The ball and eventually didn't get through, and eventually went through to goalkeeper McGregor. But his vision is fabulous. By the way, he's lightning, isn't he?
Yeah, it's the peripheral vision, isn't it? You just tell as the ball comes to him, he can see everything, and his decision making is so good. And fleet of foot, as Pat said, he's tormented defenders up and down the league in Scotland this season.
And the horrifying thing, if you're a defender, Connor, is it is only that yard. If you switch off, you don't even need to switch off. You just don't get close enough for a second. He is a fabulous finisher and natural.
Tillman for Rangers, surrounded by Celtic midfielders and forced to retreat. Barisic has it on the left hand side here. It's a ball that's asking an awful lot of Ryan Kent to chase after Cameron Carter-Vickers, but the American always had the head start on him. Back pass to Joe Hart, just sees the England goalkeeper slip as he cleared it away. Two balls on the pitch for a moment. Second of them punched away by Nicola Raskin. The Rangers get a throw in down the left hand side. All is not lost yet, but this is proving difficult for Rangers now. Throw in by Barisic, gets it back from Kent. Jota slides in on him, puts it out for another Rangers throw.
Rangers almost got a corner kick there, and I think it almost looks like their best opportunities are going to come from either free kicks or corner kicks, because they do look dangerous in those areas. Sutter's dangerous when he can come forward, but he's under pressure just now.
Barisic cut out by Alistair Johnson as he tried to play it down the left wing. Throw into Rangers once again. Celtic who travel to Kilmarnock next Saturday, then it's Motherwell here at Celtic Park, and then the next Old Firm derby at Ibrox Sunday, April 30th. No, actually, that's the Scottish Cup semi-final, isn't it? That's at Hampden Park.
You have to watch out, but there's so many Rangers Celtic Rangers game every season, and they're never dull.
Right, we've had the goal here at Celtic. There is now word of a goal reaching us from Old Trafford. Manchester United, Everton, Maz Farouki.
And it's gone the way we thought it would. They deserve it, really. McTominay with the opener for Manchester United. 6 yards out from the right, fed in by Rashford, who's been brilliant going forward for Manchester United. Manchester United 1, Everton 0.
Minutes to go until half-time here in Glasgow, and 1-0 to Celtic the score here. Pat Evan.
Can we call him the free scoring Scott McTominay at the moment? Since he scored 4 goals for Scotland during that break there. He's just been pushed forward a wee bit, and he is quite capable, and he's shown it now.
He is on a roll. Manchester United's number 39. As Joe Hart's possession here for Celtic. Oh, not the greatest pass, but Johnson received it so well. Little turn away from Ryan Kent, and then Alistair Johnson is fouled as Tillman and Kent tried to double up on him. There's a little bit of pushing and shoving. Callum McGregor and Nicola Raskin, who were trying to get possession of the ball after the whistle had already blown, and other players come streaming in, and the referee Kevin Clancy has to try and pour cold water and calm it all down.
Well, both players had their hands up, pushing each other up quite high, and there are some referees, well, certainly in past times, they've got the yellow cards out for that.
It is a card for the pair of them.
Yeah, and I would not argue with that for a second. Maybe once, but they pushed each other 2 or 3 times.
So Callum McGregor and Nicola Raskin both into the referee's notebook, joining Cameron Carter-Vickers, who was booked earlier on in the match. So Kyogo's goal separates them. Free kick to Celtic, midway inside their own territory. Johnson, the Canadian international who played at the World Cup, takes his time over it, flips it out to Starfelt. Cantwell's going to try and sprint over there. That was a curious free kick from Alistair Johnson, putting his fellow defender under a bit of unnecessary pressure. John Suter heads the ball away. Tillman nods it on twice for himself. Excellent skill. And then plays a pass in front of Ryan Kent, who's got to run out to the corner flag to try and keep it in play. Pushes it off Alistair Johnson and then runs into the defender. The referee says that's a foul. Free kick to Celtic, who are winning those 50-50 battles at the moment.
Yeah, but Rangers are putting up a bit of a fight. You've got to say that. I mean, they're not losing their heads quite yet, but they're certainly pushing Celtic back a little bit. They're not creating that many chances, just that one possible opportunity that they didn't get. I'm just watching this again, the pushing and shoving from McGregor, and I tell you what, Cal McGregor, he's got to be very careful. I think there's a wee slap in the face there, and if your hand goes up that high, I mean, well done, neither player went rolling in the ground as if they'd been poleaxed.
We've got 5 minutes to go until half-time here at Celtic Park. Let's bring in Roddy Forsyth at this stage. Roddy, what have you made of the game so far?
Well, the Rangers start was the best I've seen from them since the Scottish Cup semi-final at Hampden Park last year when they beat Celtic, and one felt that if they could be graced with a goal, of which we thought that Morelos had scored, then suddenly this would be a wholly different scenario. But it's the usual Celtic form at Celtic Park.
Ange Postecoglou will be pleased at how professional his team have been here today. Crunching tackle in on Tillman on the halfway line, and he's slow to get back to his feet. Referee Kevin Clancy was right beside that. He said it was hard but fair challenge and play on.
Yeah, and if it is, I mean, he's coming from behind him then. If he does catch him there, it could be trouble. Remember, we've got VARs, but I don't think it didn't look like a sending off to me.
No, it was Alistair Johnson who came crunching in to the American Tillman. Canada versus USA there. Barisic reacts ahead of Jota to win possession for Rangers. No shortage of endeavour from Michael Beale's team. I mean, the body language hasn't dropped, but they're just finding it very difficult against their well-drilled opponents here. Taylor gets to a ball ahead of Cantwell. Celtic fans relishing all these little small victories in the context of the wider battle. Dayson Maeda attacks down the left-hand side. Tavernier lunges in, and he can't keep it in play down by the corner flag. Out it goes for a throw into Celtic.
It's one of the big problems that Rangers have got. When they try and push up, they know that the pace that Celtic have got. Jota is quick, but he's also got great skills. Kyogo's quicker than any of the defenders out there, so they can't leave any space for him to run into. And Maeda, he will never stop running. He just keeps on going until the gasket goes. So Rangers want to push up, but they're fearful of it. Yeah,
how Rangers would love to Celtic would love to double their lead ahead of half-time here. Rangers at 1-0 will know this is very much alive for a comeback, but at 2-0 in this context, no away fans, that might be it. And Celtic have shown this season, if they get a healthy lead up, they can really rack up the goals at times. They won 6-1 against Hibs back in October. Celtic. This is Starfelt.
Wish you wouldn't remind me of scores like that. Says the Hibby.
This is Cameron Carter-Vickers just outside the penalty area. Scooped on by Alistair Johnson. Well played Jota, who had very little room to manoeuvre. Two opponents around him, and he smuggled the pass back to the fullback. Here he is again. Oh, not so good this time for the Portuguese player. Losing out to Raskin, and Rangers have it with Cantwell now. Midway inside Celtic territory. The hunger of Celtic players to swarm around him there, though, sums up the performance of Postecoglou's team here. And another attempted Rangers attack comes to a halt.
Well, you don't get a game for Ange Postecoglou unless you work at that level. And by the way, you can keep on working at that level. If you stop at any point, you will come off. And there's somebody else who's going to do exactly the same sort of thing. And that's what Rangers have struggled over a period of time to live with.
Postecoglou, who was, we'll come back to that in a moment. Rangers attacking down the left with Kent. To the byline he gets. Moy was trying to keep up with him. Cameron Carter-Vickers can only repel it away. And then Rangers are unfortunate because Barisic tried to roll it for Tillman and he hit it too heavy. Tillman had to stretch, and when he did, he's caught by a defender and down he goes, and a yellow card has been shown. Free kick to Rangers just outside the penalty area, central location, and this is about as dangerous a set piece location that Rangers have had in the game so far. Matt O'Reilly is the player who took down Tillman there, and he has shown a yellow card as well, and those yellow cards are beginning to rack up for Celtic.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Matt O'Reilly. He just dives in there, doesn't get close enough to the ball, but I honestly think, I don't think that Tavernier would put it 6 inches either way for the perfect position for him to take a free kick, and that's what Rangers have been working for. They did well from the corner kick, they nearly scored from that. It's set pieces, almost dream scenario for Rangers with seconds to go before half time.
It's all relative, but a huge crowd here, about as quiet as they've been. Celtic supporters realising this is a dangerous opportunity for Rangers here. Tavernier and Barisic standing over it. Feels certain it'll be Tavernier. Takes the run up almost at 90 degrees from where he's going to hit the shot. Here it comes. Wraps the foot around it. Brilliant goal from James Tavernier. That's a world-class free kick. Just when Rangers needed it. And there may be no supporters here for the visitors, but the Rangers players celebrate that. Huge moment in the game. Rangers ahead of half-time are back on level terms. Celtic won, Rangers won. Perfect free kick from Tavernier.
It's no surprise because he's one of the best in the business, and I don't mean in Scotland, I mean anywhere. He is phenomenal. Perfect position for him. Rangers have been looking for that for quite some time. They finally get a free kick from there, but he does put it perfectly underneath the crossbar, touches the crossbar with pace. Nothing Joe Hart can do about it. Game on again.
Oh, the timing of that as we move into stoppages at the end of the first half. 2 minutes to be added on. James Tavernier has completely changed the complexion of this game. Celtic fans were on easy street. They were singing, they were happy. Celtic were winning all the 50-50 battles. The opening goal from Kyogo having Celtic looking such like champions-elect. But that Tavernier goal has upended things, and Rangers will be so buoyant now as they head towards the changing room shortly for half-time. It was a brilliant free kick, and that challenge from Matt O'Reilly, very costly now, giving it away in such a dangerous position.
Yeah, he's diving in there, and you look back at it, did he really need to dive in there? Players going away from the play, okay, he's about 22 yards out, but it's not a dangerous position he's going to have a shot at, so dives in there, gives away, and it's a slight exaggeration, but it ain't far away for a penalty kick when you've got Tavernier from that situation.
Yeah. Well, no Rangers fans inside the stadium, but you could imagine in the bars around Glasgow of a blue persuasion that will have gone down very well.
I took my headphones off immediately just to hear the noise, and there wasn't any. You can't, well, as I say, he's getting carried away with everyone else. Another yellow card. It's time for Cantwell.
We're used to games with maybe very small travelling contingents, but no Rangers fans at all in here. I mean, it's always the time if anyone desperate for a ticket at a big game like this, they might go into the home end as an away fan and try to be incognito. It's the one time they might give themselves away and betray themselves is if their team scores a goal. Nobody, I mean, around the stadium, no one was showing any allegiance towards Tavernier there as the referee blows the whistle for half-time. We've got a game in our hands here. Kyogo Furuhashi took his goal very well for Celtic, but Rangers have shown real quality. The quality that Michael Beale has instilled in them this season, and they are back on level terms, 1-1 here at Celtic Park.
Yeah,
Pat Nevin.
Plenty happening in this game. Yes, Celtic have had most of the play, and when Kyogo scored, you think, well, that's just classic, typical Kyogo. You couldn't read the script, but then you couldn't write the script because it's written already. But then you do exactly the same for Rangers. They get the man they want there from 22, 23 yards out. Tavernier puts it into the top corner. We've also had quite a few bookings. We've also had a possibility that 2 goals that have been scored. One of them, Rangers will complain bitterly that they thought their goal scored by Morelos should have stood. So Celtic, Rangers, never dull. And there's so much to look forward to in this second half.
There are not many right backs in the history of world football who've got the scoring rate of James Tavernier. That's 6 goals now in his last 8 games. It's the 9th time he scored away from home this season in the league, and for the first time he has scored in a league game here at Celtic Park. It's the big talking point. Tavernier's free kick. It's Celtic 1, Rangers 1.
Roddy, will you ever hear a quieter reaction to a better goal?
The only time I've heard anything like this was during the COVID lockdown, when there was almost nobody in the stadium, and even then the benches were noisy. But yes, it's an extraordinary phenomenon. I thought I'd seen everything, but when you decide to have no away supporters and the away team scores, you create a circumstance for yourself that was not what you intended.
From a Celtic perspective, Pat, are we seeing both the what Ange Postecoglou has done with this team and the power of his recruitment in the space of 45 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, we all know about Kyogo. I mean, we talked. I remember doing first game we did up here for Radio 5 Live, and I hesitated for a moment and then used him in the same sentence as Henrik Larsson. Yeah, and you can, because the goal scoring is phenomenal. The movement is absolutely brilliant. And yeah, the players that he's brought in, and it's not just the players that he's brought in that play just now. If someone having a quiet time, the quality he's got to come in and lift the game again is fantastic. But even so, still not, they've still not completely wiped the floor with Rangers here, in this game, and Rangers are on a very good run themselves. So what a phenomenal lift to get to exactly the right moment if you're Rangers just now.
By the way, I must interrupt this just to say to you, there's a great example of the Celtic youth policy in the stand right in front of us. There's a 7-month-old baby in a full Celtic strip being held aloft.
I did wonder what Connor was laughing at earlier, and now I know. Thank you very much, guys. Brilliant half that. Celtic won, Rangers won. Of course, we'll be back for second half commentary. James Tavernier with the free kick. His brother Marcus will be hoping to help Bournemouth beat Leicester down at the bottom of the Premier League later. That's our live commentary at 3 o'clock. The other early kick-off in the Premier League is at Old Trafford. Jordan Pickford's having the game of his life, and it still doesn't matter, Maz. Yeah,
I was going to say he's been far and away Everton's best player by some distance, Steve, and that pretty much tells you the story of this game so far. Manchester United 1, Everton 0. Scott McTominay peeling off the defender 6 yards out. A good finish from the right from a player full of confidence at the moment. Rashford doing so well in the build-up as well to keep possession for United as 3 or 4 Everton players tried to dispossess him at the edge of the area. Anthony earlier hit the post. He should have fed in Rashford as well on a couple of occasions, but has opted to take the shots on instead, which Pickford has blocked. He's blocked some bits of chances as well. Ellis Sims has had far and away Everton's best chance, but his finish at the other end without power and wide of the post is certainly one he'll not want to watch back. And yeah, Jordan Pickford having the game of his life, but Everton still trail here at Old Trafford 1-0 at half time.
And if it stays like that, Manchester United will move above Newcastle into third position in the Premier League table. Newcastle at Brentford later, massive day down the bottom of the Premier League table. So we'll take you for the first time to the King Power Stadium. We'll also discuss one of the only teams who know they'll be in the Premier League next season, and that's Burnley. That's all after the latest news on 5 Live with Richard Foster.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thanks, Steve. Good afternoon. Hospital managers are warning that up to 250,000 appointments and operations could be postponed due to next week's planned 4-day strike by junior doctors in England. The Health Secretary, Steve Barclay, has been urged to meet unions this weekend to try to resolve the issue. Ministers say pay talks to try to resolve the dispute can only take place if the BMA calls off its industrial action. A 12-year-old boy has appeared in court in Sheffield accused of murdering a 60-year-old woman. Marcia Grant was fatally injured when she was hit by a car in the Greenhill area on Wednesday. The boy's been remanded into secure accommodation. Delays are building for cross-channel traffic in Calais. The ferry company DFDS says coaches are facing 3-hour waits at border control there. P&O's advising passengers to take snacks and water with them. Authorities in Dover say traffic is flowing freely through the port there. And a performance of the Bodyguard musicals had to be abandoned after audience members got too rowdy. Police were called to Manchester's Palace Theatre last night to deal with the disturbance.
Break into a world of true crime on BBC Sounds with Lucy Worsley's Lady Killers.
This is the story of how an ordinary woman who witnessed the killing of her husband found herself on trial for his murder.
And the Lazarus Heist.
Soon, millions of dollars worth of banknotes are spilling out of cash points around the world.
True crime podcasts. Listen on BBC Sounds.
Why is it called a smart speaker? Because it's smart. You ask it to do something and it'll be done. Just say, smart speaker, ask BBC Sounds to play your favourite music mix. Oh, that's nice. Or you can say, ask BBC Sounds to play that brand new podcast. Ooh. And you can even ask BBC Sounds to pause, rewind and restart live radio on your smart speaker. If only everything in life was that simple. For music, radio and podcasts, on most smart speakers, just say, smart speaker, ask BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sport
with Steve Crossman.
Second half of Celtic Rangers on the way, 1-1 in the Old Firm derby. Let's check in at the Masters. Ian Carter.
Completion of the second round after yesterday's delays. 39 players had to come back this morning and return in what are very chilly, grey, overcast and damp conditions. It's breezy as well. Brooks Koepka, remember, is the leader at 12 under par. His closest rival, Jon Rahm, has completed a par on the 10th and the 11th. He remains at 9 under par, and that's 3 shots off the lead. The other narrative for this, really, the coming sort of couple of hours, Steve, is Tiger Woods. He's at 2 over par. He had to resume with a really tricky tee shot on the little par 3 12th. Beautiful tee shot, but then missed a very short putt for birdie. He is currently playing the 13th at 2 over par. He's right on the cut line, so we'll be watching him very closely.
It's always great at the Masters to see some of the old champions in action. One of the second rounds completed today was the 1988 winner, Sandy Lyle.
Yeah, I have really felt a lot of sympathy for him last night. He was up surveying a 15-foot par putt on the 18th green with about 500 spectators around to give him the big send-off, and of course the hooter went and he wasn't allowed to complete there, so he had to come back this morning, first thing in the morning, just for 2 putts as it turned out. He finished 20 over par. It doesn't matter. It was his 42nd Masters. It was his 101st and final major, and at the age of 65 we can now officially say that one of the greatest golfers that Britain has ever produced, Sandy Lyle, has now officially retired. There were a smattering of spectators around, not quite the send-off that a great career deserved, but nonetheless he was all smiles as he walked off, applauded around the green, and trudged off to the recorder's hut, as I say, finishing at 20 over par, but that doesn't really matter.
No, of course not. Ian, thank you so much. Correspondent Ian Carter, who's with us all day, our live coverage. The leaders will be out later on, 9 p.m. tonight, live on 5 Live, with Mark Chapman and the team out at Augusta. Now, last night in the Championship, Burnley beat Middlesbrough 2-1 to book their return to the Premier League. They've done it with 7 games to go. Here's their boss, Vincent Kompany.
It's an achievement, but we're not a winner yet, so we don't have the trophy. I'm happy, though. I'm really happy. I could really enjoy it. I enjoyed the day from the moment we drove the bus all the way to the stadium. And I think I'll remember every minute from this trip for the rest of my life.
Vincent, you're a Premier League manager. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know. The achievement, though, is to get promoted from the Championship, and I haven't achieved anything in the Premier League yet. So I'm looking forward, hopefully, to bring a team who can compete, who can have fun as well in the Premier League, and the work has started already a long time ago, but we'll continue the work to make the squad competitive for next season.
Talking about the squad, as a player, you've been in some incredible dressing rooms. As a manager, just tell me how good that group is in there.
They're outstanding. They're actually, when I see them there, they're just a bunch of kids, and it's funny to see them enjoy, celebrate, and I keep telling them, remember, make those memories, and I really drink it in. We all start the season with dreams and hopes of achievements, but they're so rare. And this is a moment for us, and I hope they'll enjoy it.
So level, but never satisfied. Vincent Kompany, the Burnley manager, there with Lee Blakeman. Let's bring in our senior football reporter, Ian Dennis, who's at the King Power for us today. Afternoon, Ian.
Hello, Steve.
We'll get to the bottom of the Premier League, but Burnley are back.
I know, and they've done it with a style and a swagger. Down to Vincent Kompany and Craig Bellamy, who've helped transform the club, really, to get them promoted. I think any promotion, whether it be Burnley or Ebbsfleet, obviously got promoted into to the National League. To do it around this time now is an incredible achievement. To do it around Easter time speaks volumes for both teams in many ways. But I think from Vincent Kompany's point of view, it's the way that they've done it, that the style of football. And obviously now he's only focused on now winning the title. And despite the celebrations last night, I heard him talking about, want everybody in focus for the game against Sheffield United on Monday. But I think he's a man who's humble. He's a man of real stature. He's focused. He also is a man of detail. And I was told during the week, for instance, last Friday they played Sunderland. At the weekend, didn't have the weekend off. He was on a scouting mission in Denmark. and that I think tells you about his work ethic as well.
Yeah, and his players are training today, by the way. One other bit of news from the Championship: Mick McCarthy's left Blackpool by mutual consent. They were beaten 3-1 by Cardiff yesterday, and they're second from bottom. So we know Burnley will be in the Premier League next season. There's at least 8 Premier League teams, maybe more, that don't know that, and today you've got 2 that are right in the mix.
I know, pivotal game this one. Bournemouth and Leicester down in the relegation zone. No away team in any of the 11 Premier League meetings between these two has actually prevailed. Southampton have got it all to do against Manchester City. They're, of course, bottom of the table. We've heard about Everton, who are one of those clutch of clubs like Bournemouth, Forest, West Ham, are all on 27 points. I think with the Palace win last week and the fact that they've appointed Roy Hodgson, I'm going to disregard Crystal Palace now from the relegation picture. I think they're in their remaining 9 games. They should get the 6 points that I think would probably be sufficient to keep them up under the tutelage of Roy Hodgson and Ray Lewington. But anyone from that 13th down, really in the mire. And it's going to be a fascinating afternoon when you think that every game has got something riding on it this afternoon. So I know there's no Football League action, but with the reporters at the other 5 other games at 3 o'clock, it's going to be a really busy and important afternoon of football.
What are you looking out for now? What are you looking out as an indicator that somebody can get out of it with so many teams right in it?
Well, they're down there for a reason, because they can't score the goals and they can't keep clean sheets. But I did something during the pandemic that a member of the League Managers Association told me, that when you've got 9 games remaining, how surprising it is that very little changes down at the bottom. Anyway, so during the pandemic, I worked my way through every Premier League season, and he was right. There is very, very little change with 9 games to go. I suspect this season of all seasons, that might alter that theory because of how congested it is. Although, if you recall, back on the final day of 2011, there were still 2 relegation places that were available going into the final day that day, where you had 5 clubs separated by just a point. We might be able to repeat that, but I just think this is such an exciting Premier League season. We've got the title, obviously commentary from Southampton later on. We'll have the Liverpool-Arsenal game tomorrow on 5 Live. The top 4, where you've got Manchester United, Newcastle and Tottenham Hotspur, and then you've got this free-for-all to try and survive down at the bottom. So both of these clubs are down there for a reason. They can't keep clean sheets, and Leicester, since the World Cup, or since the resumption of the World Cup, have collected the fewest points in the top flight. So they're all making decisions to try and get a bounce. Whether that happens today with Leicester, didn't happen in midweek. Got to say, I'm a bit surprised that they haven't had anybody lined up. Adam Sadler and Mike Stowell once again in caretaker charge. But it's going to be a really nervous afternoon here, because if Bournemouth can take anything from this game, they'll see that as a bonus against their rivals.
Absolutely. Ian, thank you very much. Yeah, we've got all of the teams in the bottom 7 in action on 5 Live Sport this afternoon. Ian and Chris Waddle will bring you full commentary from the King Power of Leicester City versus Bournemouth. So we've got Manchester United leading Everton by 1-0. Should be about 6, but Jordan Pickford's been in spectacular form. And the Old Firm derby is our base now for second half commentary. Celtic 1, Rangers 1. Roddy Forsyth, Pat Nevin with Conor McNamara.
Thanks very much, Steve. Yeah, much discussion over half-time about an action-packed first 45 minutes here. Both teams on the score sheet, both teams with goals disallowed. Kyogo Furuhashi putting Celtic in front. James Tavernier with a world-class free kick, making it 1-1 just before half-time. But Pat, I think the biggest talking point, and you know, there are no Rangers fans in here, we're only speaking to Celtic people, the Morelos goal that was disallowed, that is raising a lot of doubt with people as to whether Rangers should have taken the lead at that stage.
Right, there will not be one Rangers fan on this planet that thinks that goal should have been chopped off, and that's not necessarily because you're biased in any way whatsoever. I have to say, had the referee given that, right, which easily could have been given, because both players are having a little tug at each other, then they would have went to VAR. VAR would not have overturned that. That goal would have stood. So, you know, I said at the time, I thought Celtic got a little bit lucky there. I think they got a big bit lucky. And remember when it happened in the game, it was 0-0 at that point in time. So it could have made a huge difference.
I'd just like to add something. I mentioned beforehand that Rangers had come out in front of this crowd with none of their supporters, and they warmed up over in front of the Green Brigade, the die-hard Celtic ultras. during the game there were also similar little manoeuvres going on. I don't know if you spotted, Pat, but Celtic use a multi-ball system, and they've got the ball boys and ball girls trained to move the ball fast. When Rangers were conceding throw-ins on anything around the sideline, they were walking the ball back onto the pitch so that Celtic couldn't take a fast movement, and they were breaking up Celtic's rhythm in that regard. So, and it took quite a while for Rangers to come out there. So did Rangers keep Celtic waiting, or did Celtic come out as a statement of intent early?
We could find out soon enough.
No changes in personnel over half-time. Celtic are going to get us started for the second period. The green and white hoops. They'll play from right to left. Rangers in the blue shirts, white shorts, black socks with a red trim. This very familiar sight of an Old Firm derby in Glasgow. And 1-1. Share of the spoils at the moment would keep Celtic 9 points clear at the top of the table. In truth, to make any sort of a go at the title, Rangers need to win this in the second half, but they will be feeling much, much better thanks to that James Tavernier goal, because Joe Hart hasn't had an awful lot to save today, and he wasn't getting anywhere near that free kick. Throw in for Barisic down the left-hand side towards Tillman, who used his body to good effect to shrug away Aaron Moy, but couldn't control the ball. Celtic clear. Starfelt in step of his right boot up towards the halfway line, and Jota's done well to nip in and intercept a rather casual header from Ben Davis. He was trying to flick it to Barisic on the left hand side, and Jota was able to nip in to intercept, but now Rangers intercept. James Tavernier confidently running beyond Taylor up to the halfway line. Callum McGregor makes the interception for Celtic. High turnover of possession here in the early stages of the second half as Aaron Moy, the Australian, plays it out to Jota, the Portuguese player, attacking the Rangers penalty area right hand side, takes on Barisic, low cross deflects out for the first corner of the second half. Corner to Celtic, 1-1.
Very noticeable early on in the second half. Jota gets 1-on-1 with Barisic. That very rarely happened in the first half. Rangers were covering over very well. On that occasion, 1-on-1 with Barisic. Don't allow the winger, not one of his quality, to get 1-on-1s too often.
It's been lively throughout. Here comes the latest corner. Swung in, header out by Morelos. Everyone back defending it for Rangers, so Greg Taylor's got a lot of space to himself midway inside the Rangers half. Morelos now comes in to put pressure on Moy, who's rugby tackled him. That's so blatant. As Morelos tried to run away, Aaron Moy stretching out his hands, grabbing Morelos around the ankles, and the referee with no choice than to show a yellow card for Aaron Moy.
Yeah, I mean, the Rangers fans make shout and say, wait a minute, he was through. Well, there was more than
inside his own half, yeah.
More than a half a pitch to get, and also there were Celtic players having him back as well, but Moy was caught there. That's a really dangerous position. Morelos has been very, very lively in this game. He's only had one chance and managed to put it away, but it was chopped off, obviously.
Yeah, he looks sharp today. A player whose fitness and body shape has often been questioned, but he looks really up for it today. He's been chasing down the lost causes. Did well to finish his goal that was disallowed. It's a throw in for Rangers, and James Tavernier down below us. 1-1, 5 Live and BBC Sounds. The Scottish Premiership, this lunchtime kickoff, starts at 12 hours of live sport here on 5 Live today, as Matt O'Reilly plays the ball too far in front of Maida and out for another Rangers throw, this time just inside their own half. But I'm sure Michael Beale will have been able to accentuate the positives, all the more so thanks to that late equaliser in the first half. Tillman here has been fouled by Greg Taylor, spotted by the assistant who's right in front of that, and that is a free kick to Rangers. This one's not a shooting position. Free kick, crossing location on the right hand side.
I wouldn't put anything beyond. I certainly did what Tavernier did earlier on, but yeah, it's a little bit too far out. It's not the right angle for him, but it's a crossing situation for Rangers, and as you say, each time they put it in there, they are dangerous, and the quality is usually very good from these free kicks as well.
So it'll either be an in-swinger from Barisic or an out-swinger from Tavernier. Celtic have brought everyone back. Often Kyogo stays forward for these set pieces, but everyone's back defending now. A line along the edge of the Celtic penalty area. Joe Hart rooted to his goal line for now. It's a rehearsed move. Cantwell straight to Maida, and it needs more work on the training ground, as rather comfortably Celtic are able to clear the ball away. 1-1 here in the sunshine in Glasgow. Let's go to Augusta and find out the latest from the Masters Golf with correspondent Ian Carter.
A first move on the resumption from Spain's John Rahm. He's birdied the par 3 12th corner, and that moves him to 10 under par. Now just 2 shots behind the leader, Brooks Koepka.
Thanks very much, Ian. Busy day for Ian and the team. Ian Augusta will keep in touch with all the developments throughout the day and into tomorrow as well. This is Nicola Rankin, 15 yards outside the Celtic penalty area. Rangers have got a good spell of possession here inside their opponent's half. It's probably the longest that they've been in the entire game in Celtic territory. Tavernier sends it across on the right-hand side, too high for Tillman. Falls for Morelos! Saved by Joe Hart. Morelos kept it low. Tried to beat the goalkeeper at the near post. Hart reacted well to push it out for a corner. Big chance for Rangers.
He hits it hard, but he doesn't hit completely clean. Goes into the ground, and because it goes into the ground, I think that gives Joe Hart a little bit of a better chance to get a hold of it. But once again, you're absolutely right. Rangers have started the second half right. They started it not exactly on fire, but they know that they can control games when Celtic tire a little bit. And at the moment, that is the question that's in the air.
Yes, Morelos will be disappointed not to have scored there, but he did get the shot on target. And now all sorts of jostling for position in front of the goalkeeper as we wait for this corner to come in. Tavernier's going to cross to take it on the far side. Flag swirling around behind him. Celtic won, Rangers won, the top 2 in the table. And here comes the delivery from Tavernier. There's a real whip on that. Morelos header comes off a defender. And does it go for another corner? No. Goal kick. Morelos got a bullet action onto that, but it comes off one of his teammates and wide.
Well, Morelos was claiming that it was a handball there, and he's shouting at the referee, and then he thought, oh dear, VAR. They'll tell, they'll know. So he's just stopped.
And what it remains, poor distribution from the back though from Celtic. And a strong challenge, Alistair Johnson in on Ryan Kent. Referee's given a free kick for it. It was sort of a shoulder charge, but extra aggressive, and the referee has decided it's fallen on the wrong side of the law. Free kick to Rangers.
Well, you think about the start of the second half. Rangers had the chance where Morelos hits it into the ground. Joe Hart says fairly well, but also another opportunity there from the corner kick. Rangers have started the second half almost as well as they finished the first.
Yeah. So if Rangers were to score in the second half and win the game, the gap would be down to 6 points. We're another couple of games off the 33-game split, but it would keep the pot bubbling. Tavernier and Barisic, the two standing. Tavernier floats it, looking for Suter, who got up well to win the header, and it struck on the half volley as it came down by Todd Cantwell, but his low shot goes into the side netting. Another chance for Rangers, and then Joe Hart's distribution. I think the ball was still rolling as he kicked it, so the referee is going to make him go back and take it again.
It's like John Cleese faulty towers moment from Joe Hart there as he jumps up in fury and down onto his knees. He wanted to play, as you say, that early. It's a big part of Celtic's game, as Roddy was mentioning before. It's moving it quickly. Actually, since already said that, noticed that very clearly, but noticed that Rangers take their time in their own free kicks and the restarts all the time. They want to control the tempo of this game as much as they can.
Yes, Rangers would like this to become more pedestrian, a little bit more frustrating for Celtic, who had the lead in the first half but weren't able to hold it through to half-time. This is Greg Taylor, back to Starfelt. Morelos, hunger bearing down upon him. Starfelt slips it to the right to Cameron Carter-Vickers, who now goes long and searching in front of Kyogo, who in a collision with Ben Davis falls to the ground. The referee was barely 7 yards behind that, and he doesn't flinch. No free kick for the Japanese player.
I do think the Japanese player got an elbow in the face, but I think it's because he's a bit smaller and the defender's just running with his elbows up. The referee's probably scored that right.
Kyogo picking up loose distribution by Rangers. Maida chests it down for himself inside the penalty area. Can't get it back to Kyogo again. And some rather desperate defending sees Tavernier hack it clear. Anywhere would do for Rangers there. Entertaining this game. This is full of incident. There's not been a dull moment. Cameron Carter-Vickers out to the right wing and to Jota. He's got great movement. Tries to send a left-footed low ball into the penalty area, but that's hooked away by Ben Davis. Can't fully clear, however. Celtic will pick it up once again. There are 4 green and white hooped players in the penalty area. Maida's going to jump here at the back post. Cantwell hooks it clear, up and away over his shoulder, and it bounces out for a throw into Celtic midway inside the Rangers half. No time to waste.
Just saying about the pace of it. I mean, keep on going at this pace, it could turn into a classic because it's breathless.
This is Moy scooping it into the penalty area. Jota tried to follow the path of it as he turned, but it just went above his head and it bounced up into the arms of 41-year-old Alan McGregor, wearing bright orange, away to our left-hand side. Celtic 1, Rangers 1, Kyogo and Tavernier with the goals. Now, what's happened there? Ball was rolled out to Ben Davis. Kyogo nearest to him, and Davis has gone down. Referee had retreated away because he was expecting a long clearance for the Rangers defence, and he was a long way away from that.
Yeah, I think Kyogo goes to try and make some sort of challenge. And then knowing Kyogo, the type of player he is, he's not going to leave a late boot in there to try and cause some sort of damage. Referees looked at it again. Obviously the VAR have a look at it, and so there was nothing in it.
So play back underway. Not a great clearance by Alan McGregor. James Tavernier had to control it with his studs. Rangers do clear it away to the halfway line. Cameron Carter-Vickers wins the header. Tillman tries to take it down, but there's no room for that sort of manoeuvre as Maida nips in and clears the ball away. It's an afternoon where you don't get the opportunity for the second touch, really. Ball over the top for Morelos. He will be in the sprint here with Taylor, but he's offside. Flag raises as soon as the Colombian touches it. Offside. Rangers and a free kick to Celtic.
Yeah, to be fair, Morelos, he's gone through various stages in the Rangers career. Look, he's a very, very good goal scorer, but attitude sometimes has been questioned, and rightly so. There's nothing wrong with his attitude today. He's actually chased and harried and did all the things that his managers would want him to do, so Beale's getting the best out of him.
Rangers have won their last 10 league games in a row. The last time Celtic dropped points was in the draw with Rangers in January. 1-1 for the moment. Can Michael Beale's team take the lead for the first time this afternoon? Greg Taylor rolls it back to Cameron Carter-Vickers. Celtic playing from right to left as we look down. A possession inside their own half. Good ball forward to Aaron Moy, who keeps it moving. Looking for Jota on the right wing. Barisic retreating towards his own penalty area. Stoops down low to flick the header away, but Celtic get it back with Callum McGregor in the midfield. Here's Aaron Moy. Right-hand side as Celtic come forward. Chops it back into Callum McGregor. There's room on the near side. Here is Taylor. Might fancy one. No, lays it off to Maida. Low ball from inside the penalty area. Sits up in front of Matt O'Reilly. Spins it back. Must be there for Kyogo. Somehow it's saved on the goal line. The whistle had blown anyway, and I think it's for offside. That Rangers are going to get a free kick, but Kyogo wasn't to know that. He played on, and his attempt was cleared off the goal line. It remains 1-1.
Well, extraordinary there. I like the way you say, I think it was offside. I have no idea. There was so many players in there. The ball was all over the place there. I think McGregor might have got a bit on one of it as well, but every time either team attacks at the moment, it seems to lead to a half-decent chance.
So free kick to Rangers in a game that is screaming more goals here. It feels unlikely this one is going to stay at 1-1 for too much longer. Cameron Carter-Vickers with a downward header. Ryan Kent beaten in the chase by the fleet-footed Jota. And now Callum McGregor moves it on to Aaron Moy on the right-hand side. Jota's got on the overlap of him. Celtic back into the Rangers half. There's been a menace about the attacks of both teams since half-time. Carl Starfelt has it, his 21st league appearance of the season. Maida in a wide arc, turns away from Tavernier. Wanted to pick a pass to Matt O'Reilly, but it's been intercepted. And now Tillman will bring it over the halfway line. Can he hold off Aaron Moy? Good acceleration from Moy, but Tillman is strong and he shields the ball and lays it off to Alfredo Morelos. Here comes Tavernier up to join the attack. Celtic have dragged 9 outfield players back behind the ball here. As it's played by Rashford out to the far side. There's a lot of space for Barisic to settle himself, but the cross wasn't too threatening. And Cameron Carter-Vickers, the first defender, is able to clear away, and now Rangers can be caught. Here's Maida down the other end. 2-on-2 into Kyogo. No flag. He unselfishly tries to play a pass back to Aaron Moy. Moy wasn't expecting it, and
flag now.
Now the flag does come up, and maybe Kyogo knew that was coming, because I'm surprised he didn't take it on himself. Celtic were offside, and it's a free kick to Rangers.
Bad decision there. Maida gets the ball on the left hand side. He cuts in. He tries to find his countryman going through. He was marked. Moy was in the far side, completely and utterly free, and not offside. So a bad decision there for Maida.
Rangers trying to keep the title race alive here in Scotland. Arsenal and Manchester City both this weekend in action in the Premier League in their title battle. But the battle for the top four is absolutely intriguing. Manchester United are hosting Everton at Old Trafford this afternoon. It's the lunchtime kickoff, and Maz Farouki's there for us.
Hour played, still Manchester United 1, Everton 0. United dominating possession in the second half without creating an awful lot clear cut in front of goal. And Eric ten Hag's brought on Anthony Martial. 3 subs for Everton as well. Mikalenko, Garner and Davies on. They've really got to try and change things up to make something happen here. They still trail by a goal to 0.
Thanks very much. It was at Goodison on Monday when Everton were able to come up with a wonderful late equaliser to deny Tottenham a win at Goodison. Sean Dyche's side won't give up right till the very end there. We'll be back to Maz if there's any developments here at Celtic Park. Moy into Jota, wrong foot of the goalkeeper, but just wide. That was a clever shot, swivelled, played it towards the near post, and had that been just inside the post, I think Alan McGregor would have been in big trouble.
I think he was flat-footed there, McGregor there. He'd gone to the back post. He's very good at twisting and turning with a shot in one movement, Jota. Not as good as Kyogo, obviously. But at the moment, I think Celtic are thinking of making a change. I wouldn't be surprised if one of the midfielders could be made that's possibly O'Reilly as well, would make a change, because at the moment Rangers have got too many chances for Celtic's comfort, and particularly Tavernier coming down the right hand side.
Tillman is on the receiving end of quite a bit of rough treatment in this second half in particular. He's down again for a free kick, and Celtic prepare to make their first change of the afternoon. Aaron Moy, who is on his return from injury, made the starting 11 today but won't get to see any more of the game than this. He comes off, and Tomoki Iwata, the player who started ahead of him against Ross County last time out, comes on instead. It is the Japanese international's birthday today. He turns 26, and Iwata comes on into the Celtic midfield.
And I'm not convinced it will make them any weaker, and that's what Celtic have got. They can bring on energy, and the work rate from all the Japanese players that Celtic have got has always been incredible, and it certainly adds something to that today with no Hatate.
Yeah, that start against Ross County was Iwata's first in a Celtic shirt, and he had 4 substitute appearances before that in the league. A player the Celtic fans are still getting to know properly, but they've been impressed with what they've seen in him so far. He came on as a sub in the League Cup final against Rangers back in February. 1-1 here in the Old Firm derby in Glasgow. Cameron Carter-Vickers plays a nice pass, and a cross low in by Johnson from the right hand side is met at the front post by Ben Davis, and he hasn't fully cleared, and it's there for Kyogo, and he turns and he swivels and he shoots it low. The angle was tight, the shot was clean. Kyogo gives Celtic the lead again. 2 goals for the Japanese player. Rangers didn't see it out. Davis with the interception, but he didn't clear it, and Celtic pounce to make it 2-1.
Well, first of all, poor defending. You need to be able to clear that one. They didn't clear it, but Jota, he didn't give up. It was a lost cause. He chased it down and he expected the ball to be slammed away, but because he chased it, he got a little bit of a deflection that was needed there, and it fell beautifully to Kyogo. Doesn't it fall anyway to Kyogo? He's got another terrible angle, but he always seems to get it on target. The ball's behind him, he's turned and he swivelled, and I think it goes through the goalkeeper's legs and into the net. He is extraordinary at that, Kyogo. Absolutely extraordinary.
Ben Davis with the first touch, he comes across, and Pat Davis tries to keep the ball in play. Why doesn't he put it out for a corner? He tries to keep it in play, and that's what forces him to give it away.
Yeah, I think he expected Jota not to go and challenge and get close to him, but because Jota probably took his eye, they maybe slightly panicked for a second, but that's from nothing, absolutely nothing. Rangers have gifted Celtic the lead again.
The tap of celebration gets turned on again for Celtic. As things stand, Ange Postecoglou's team are going 12 points clear. It's a lead that will feel insurmountable. Today's been the one opportunity on the horizon where Rangers felt they could claw a little bit back and hope for a miracle going into the final stages. But if they lose here, it's surely all over. And the 2 goals from Kyogo have got Celtic in front. The green smoke bombs are out in evidence again. The flags are waving again. Kyogo, who's up to 25 goals now for Celtic, in all competitions this season. He goes down under a challenge from Ryan Jack. No free kick given by the referee. Taverniers in trouble here, under pressure from Maida. Tavernier did well. Back to Alan McGregor, and the goalkeeper clears right-footed up to the halfway line. Chested down efficiently by Tillman. Ryan Jack over to Ryan Kent. Rangers having to work hard to get over the halfway line. Back to Ryan Jack again, but Conor McGregor nips in to challenge him. Celtic get it back briefly. There's a slide from Suter, and then an upending challenge by Ryan Jack completely catapults Callum McGregor up into the air, but the referee says it's a fair challenge, and that more than anything sums up the competitive nature of this game today. Ball goes out of play.
Well, the tackle with Jack that goes in there, and McGregor and Jack, they were going to be coming together at some point. Give him his due, McGregor. He got up and he tapped Suter in the back of the head and said, well done.
Yeah, there was no song and dance made of that by Callum McGregor, who's dished out a few heavy challenges today and now been on the receiving end. Here's Kyogo looking for the hat-trick, but Ben Davis manages to shield his shot away for a corner. Celtic fans in delirium now. It's pandemonium in Celtic Park.
Well, they want the party to begin just now. But you think about it, every time the ball gets to Kyogo, it almost always ends up on target, a shot with pace towards the corner. The percentage of touches he's had today, and many of them have ended up in the net, it's very high.
25 minutes to go. Celtic lead 2-1. Corner is swung in, headed out by the tall Tillman. Controlled by Callum McGregor on the edge of the penalty area. Back to Ryan Kent, who's lost out here. Jota has a little trick up his sleeve, but can't beat Tillman the second time, and the ball goes out for a throw-in. And it's 2-1 to Celtic on their way to a 12-point lead as it stands. Back to the Premier League, back to Old Trafford. Maz Faruqi.
Still Manchester United 1, Everton 0, but a great chance for a second for United. A Bruno Fernandes header just tipped over the crossbar by Jordan Pickford. United looking really dangerous when they attack at pace on the counter-attack. But Everton building their way into this game a little bit more. They still trail 1-0.
Thanks very much, Maz. Celtic attack down the left wing has ended up with Todd Cantwell lying on the ground, hand across his face, and I think he's signalling that he feels he's been struck by a flailing arm.
Yep, he's got up. I mean, that's very similar to what happened a few moments ago with Kyogo. You know, there was a hand to the face, but I don't think on either occasion from the Celtic player or the Rangers player it was deliberate. It's just going at such a pace, isn't it? Things happen.
Rangers preparing to make a change here. They've got their long unbeaten record to protect, and they're about to bring on Fashion Sakala, who between scoring and assists has been involved in more Premiership goals since the World Cup than any other player. Free kick to Rangers on the right hand side. Maida and Tillman carrying on the battle long after the whistle had blown, and the referee Clancy's got to come across and he wants a word with a pair of them.
It's bubbling up a wee bit here, isn't it? You can feel, I mean, there's no sending offs yet. There's been a lot of bookings so far. Players are getting, the stress on them is huge. Rangers know just now they need to get something out of this. Oh, their championship chances are completely and utterly gone, whereas Celtic will fight tooth and nail to keep this, because they could almost cruise to the end of the season if they keep these 3 points in their pocket.
Last chance saloon for Rangers. They need 2 goals to keep the title alive. Tavernier's got to take the free kick, but 15 yards into Celtic territory. Everyone back defending. Rangers still waiting to make the change. Tavernier's delivery towards the edge of the box and headed away. It was Alistair Johnson back there. Last defender for Rangers is Raskin, and he turns to the halfway line and plays it all the way back to Alan McGregor. His right-footed clearance is against a whole succession of Rangers players who are coming back from an offside position, and the flag goes up, and this break in play gives Michael Beale the opportunity to make his change. Fashion Sakala will come on in place of Malik Tillman.
Do you know that little moment there where you said, was it 5 Rangers players were offside? That underlines what Celtic's attitude is. They have to play at a high tempo all the time. So when the ball was cleared, they all got behind the ball. They all pushed up as much as they could, as you say, leaving 5 Rangers players who couldn't stick with them.
Clever header from Iwata to pick out O'Reilly. Good hustle from Greg Taylor to get through 2 opponents, and then Maida's cross is deflected away by John Suter and out for a Celtic throw. Celtic would love the 3rd goal. That would give them some comfort. They've had a 1-goal lead in this game. That was brought back to 1-1. Now they lead 2-1. Green and white tricolours is floating in the air as Celtic prepare to take this throw in down the left. Hundreds of spectators standing in front of us. It's a corner, played in by Jota. Great delivery on that one, but Morelos puts his head on it on the edge of the 6-yard box and clears away for Rangers. This is Iwata flicking the ball forward. He had Ryan Kent close to him. He didn't have the room to take a touch. First time that Fashion Sakala's had a touch, and he's challenged immediately by Johnson. The ball goes out of play for a throw into Rangers.
It just hasn't slowed down at any point in time, has it? You know, we're nearly 70 minutes in and it's still 100 miles an hour constantly.
Straight to Old Trafford, Naz.
Second goal for Manchester United. That might be that, you'd think. Now Anthony Martial, he's not been on the field very long. Set up very, very well by Marcus Rashford, who's been hassling that Everton defence. Manchester United 2, Everton 0.
Manchester United on their way to move ahead of Newcastle. Today, the way things stand. Later on today on 5 Live, we'll bring you commentary of Leicester against Bournemouth. That's our pick of the 3 o'clock games. Ian Dennis will be with Chris Waddle for that one. And later on at 5:30, Southampton against Manchester City. Chris Wise and Danny Gabbard on your commentary team there. This is 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Scottish Premiership. Celtic on the cusp of a 12-point, surely unassailable lead. So Maida tries to control, but can't get it under his grasp. Barisic swivels 360 degrees on the halfway line. Ryan Jack has to play it back to John Souttar, and now to the near touchline. James Tavernier for Rangers. Low ball to the feet of Alfredo Morelos. Holds it up well for Todd Cantwell. Challenge from Matt O'Reilly. Just holds up Nicola Raskin, but can't win possession back. Free kick to Rangers midway inside the Celtic half.
Well, they got lucky there because, you know, they lost the ball. Didn't see a great deal wrong with that there, although not too many complaints with Celtic, but the ball was played over the top and it was a foot race between Souttar and Kyogo, which means it wasn't really a race. Kyogo was going to win that one.
So the pattern of play here, Kyogo's goal after 26 minutes, Tavernier's free kick right on 45 ahead of half-time, and then Kyogo Furuhashi again after 62 minutes have given Celtic this 2-1 lead. Barisic takes the free kick this time for Rangers, floating it into the penalty area, looking for Souttar, jumping in the air against him was Matt O'Reilly, and the ball goes out for a goal kick to Celtic.
Yeah, I'm just interested to watch Celtic now. Are there any point in time they're going to slow it down, not play quick free kicks when they can? Answer, no. They got on with it again.
So we mentioned that our 3 o'clock commentary on 5 Live comes from the King Power Stadium today. Good stories. Leicester against Bournemouth, and Ian Dennis has got the team news. Ian.
Here's Connor, yes. 3 changes for Leicester City. Dewsbury Hall is suspended. There's no Mendy or Souttar. Amati, Pereira and Samari come in. Mepham replaces the injured Senesi, and Rothwell comes into the side as well for Traore for Bournemouth.
Thanks very much, Ian. Ian will be alongside Chris Waddle at 3 o'clock here on 5 Live for our usual round the ground service up and down the land. As here is Alistair Johnson for Celtic, drops the shoulder and accelerates away from 2 opponents. That's a great run for the right back. Here comes the cross into the centre, and Souttar diving down onto his knees heads the ball away. Johnson's had a good game today for Celtic.
Yeah, he's really grown into that position, you know, since he came over, Canadian player. But as the game has gone on, he just got stronger and stronger, and now he's getting forward a little bit more, using his pace, and looks very dangerous.
Celtic who had Josip Juranovic, the Croatian international, who did so well at the World Cup, and disappointed to lose him, but excellent recruitment to bring in Alistair Johnson to fill the gap. As here's a chance, Jota comes out, goalkeeper's in trouble, McGregor's beaten, and Jota gets the breathing space for Celtic. 3-1 the lead. They're about to go 12 points clear at the top of the Scottish Premiership table. No away fans. It is pure joy inside Celtic Park as they roar the approval. Jota's 12th, 13th, it should be, goal of the season to make it 3-1. And Celtic so close to the title they can almost touch it.
Yes, once again Jota. I mean, question marks on him early on in his Celtic career. Was he willing to work as hard as he had to work? And I don't know if that was answered until this season. He has chased absolutely everything today. He certainly was part of the reason why they scored the second goal, because he chased the ball down. And this time, I mean, it's dreadful defending. The ball's coming across there. Attempted pass back to McGregor. Awful, far too short. Jota's in there, chased it down and puts it away with ease. And Roddy, I'll tell you what, I don't know if you've seen that. Is that the sort of thing that you would expect from a Rangers player when the whole league season's on it.
Well, when you think that the player who made that mistake was a player who's only played twice in the whole league season, it was a real error by John Souttar, which will be a blemish on his record, and yet there was always a gamble playing him, of course, given that Connor Golson normally occupies that position.
Well, it's ear-splittingly loud here in Glasgow. Celtic 3, Rangers 1. Party move for a buoyant home support while the celebrations continue here and Celtic make some changes. Let's get some team news from Villa Park. Aston Villa against Nottingham Forest today. Here is Pat Murphy.
Expectations high here at Villa Park. The home fans talking about Europe. They're unchanged from the side that won in midweek at Leicester, so Bailey keeps his place ahead of Bertrand Traore, who scored a superb late goal. As for Forest, Worrell plays in defence, Shelby in midfield, Lingard back in the squad, Denise is only a sub, no Aurier and Yates, they're injured. 1 point from 6 Forest, they need something today.
Thanks very much, Pat. We'll be with Pat Murphy regularly throughout the afternoon on 5 Live from Villa Park for updates on Aston Villa against Nottingham Forest. John Southall is on the banks of the Thames at Craven Cottage this afternoon. Fulham against West Ham, and John's got the team news.
Afternoon, Connor. After Wednesday's horror show against Newcastle, David Moyes has changed 3 of West Ham's back 4. Kara, Aguerd and Emerson replaced by Soufal, Bonner and Cresswell. Fornals replaces Paqueta and it's Ings in for Ben Rama. 3 changes for Fulham: Cedric Suarez and Tosin Adebayo in for Tete and Diop, and Willian is back in place of Solomon.
Thanks very much, John. Celtic have made 2 changes. O has come onto the midfield in place of O'Reilly, and Haksabanovic has joined the attack for Jota. So Jota's last touch was putting the ball into the back of the net. Celtic have got wind in their sails now as Haksabanovic plays a through ball into the penalty area, made and nearly getting onto it. And Rangers are hanging on now at 3-1 down. Another of the 3 o'clock games in the Premier League this afternoon is at Molineux. Wolves against Chelsea. John Bennett is there for us and has the teams.
And Frank Lampard only makes 2 changes on his return as Chelsea boss. Conor Gallagher and Raheem Sterling replace N'Golo Kante, who's rested, and Ben Chilwell, who's on the bench. So it's a 4-3-3 formation. Mason Mount is out injured. For Wolves, 3 changes. Podence, João Gomez and ex-Chelsea striker Diego Costa all come in.
The scene here at Celtic Park is one of pure delight, and it's actually a remarkable sight. You've got around the stadium everyone doing the Poznad, turning their backs, linking their arms, jumping up and down. It creates this optical illusion of wobbly jelly around the stadium. They of course call their Poznan the huddle here in Glasgow, those of the green and white persuasion. But just to give the illustration for people more used to the German version of the dance, and with no away fans in here, it's remarkable to see an entire stadium doing that dance together is quite the sight.
Yeah, all the party tricks are coming out just now, not just from the players, not from the Celtic fans as well, and it must be very hard if you're a Rangers player out there just now. You have to keep on going. The season demands that you push to the end. If you could get one more goal back, you never know.
13 minutes to play. A Rangers free kick played in by Barisic and headed away by Iwata, out for a corner to Rangers. Tavernier will sprint across, bellowing instructions, and teammate, he doesn't realise, Tavernier, that there's a ball waiting for him by the corner flag. He was streaming it hard to give him the ball, not realising the multi-ball system had already provided one for him. That's the sort of blinkers of frustration that Rangers are under now. Tavernier prepares to take it, raises his right hand as a signal. They've already come from 1-0 down today, Rangers. That's a good in-swing. Cantwell and Davis nearly getting in each other's way as they both tried to jump for it. Fashion Sakala picks up the possession for Rangers. Crossing position on the right hand side, he's got Barisic with him. That's a good ball in, free header in the back post, and it's a goal back for Rangers. It's Tavernier again. It's a brilliant header from him. Barisic's cross was excellent, and the delirium becomes silence. It's an incredible, someone just turns down the volume, and in front of no visiting supporters, Celtic are stunned by Rangers making it 3-2, and maybe, just maybe, this crazy game is not over yet. 11 minutes to play. Celtic 3, Rangers 2. Tavernier has silenced Celtic Park.
It's extraordinary considering the noise beforehand, the celebrations. They were just doing the huddle there a few moments ago. The party atmosphere has just been completely pooped for the moment. Those Celtic fans will get that back in a minute though, but it just goes to show, man, you can't go for anything in this this derby game, because Rangers didn't give up there. They had a half a chance before that, and now 3-2. You just never know.
That was an incredible moment, from a cacophony of noise to hear a pin drop. Incredible. Tavernier's second goal. What a game he's having. What a game this is, and it's not over yet. Rangers have possession midway inside the Celtic half. We'll get team news from Newcastle. Give up Brentford in just a moment, but Rangers on the attack here, looking dangerous with Cantwell. Suddenly there's a new lease of life. Here comes a delivery from Barisic. Tavernier looking for his hat-trick, puts the header wide. Well, Celtic, who looked so comfortable as Hart takes a clearance, and he nearly gave possession away. He's fortunate the referee is going to bring him back to take it again. Joe Hart needed to take a breath there. Wow.
I think I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, Joe Hart there. The ball was stopped inside the box, so we don't count it anyway, but you're right. Wow. You can tell Tavernier's up for this. I was thinking a few moments ago Kyogo's on for a hat-trick. Well, not the only one who's looking for a hat-trick here, Tavernier as well.
Kyogo with 2, Tavernier with 2, Jota with the goal that at the moment is giving Celtic the 12-point lead, but they're not there yet. Here comes Celtic down the other end. Oh, in the box is challenged. Celtic wants a penalty. Referee looked at it but didn't flinch. Kyogo's carrying on, running out towards the touch on the far side. He's got 2 defenders around him. He's wrestling to try and get in front of Ben Davis, and eventually the free kick is given in Celtic's favour. I'm sure the VAR will be looking in the background at the challenge on O inside the penalty area. While they sort all that out, let's go to the G-Tech Community Stadium. Brentford against Newcastle. Team news from Katie Smith.
Yeah, 3 changes for Brentford. Sharda De Silva, Hickey in, and Burmo, Damsgaard, Roslev out from that loss to Manchester United midweek. 2 changes for Newcastle. They are currently pushed down to 4th by United. Wilson swapped out for Isak. Joe Linton moves into the front 3. Sam Maximin out of the matchday squad with a hamstring issue. Joe Willock starts in the midfield.
Thank you, Katie. Free kick to Celtic. Here it comes from the right-hand side. And a header out by Ryan Jack will... Oh, I thought that would be a corner. And that seems to be the mood for the Celtic fans, but the referee has said goal kick to Rangers. So this is the scenario, a ding-dong game, a 3-2 lead for Celtic, 9 minutes of normal time to go. If Celtic hold on, it's a 12-point lead that should secure the title for them. We've heard that Newcastle team news, and they want to play catch-up at Manchester United. How are things progressing at Old Trafford? Here's Baz Faruqi.
Still 2-0 to United, but good and bad news for United. Rashford has limped off. He's headed straight down the tunnel here at Old Trafford. He's been replaced by Weghorst, but Christian Eriksen, remember, he's been out since January with an ankle injury. He is on for the last 8 minutes or so of this match. Still Manchester United 2, Everton 0.
That's very much very good news for Christian Eriksen, who many had felt his season might have been over. That could be a very useful asset for Erik ten Hag now in the run-in. We'll be right across the 3 o'clock games with Ian Dennis at the King Power Stadium from 3 o'clock. This is 5 Live from the BBC. At the moment focusing on the top of the Scottish Premiership, where Celtic have this 3-2 lead, but Rangers with new belief, and they're going to throw everything at trying to make this 3-3 now as they send everyone forward for this free kick, which Tavernier is going to take near the halfway line. Celtic are sitting in a line of defenders just in front of the penalty area as it's played by Tavernier, hoisted high and hopeful. Suter can't get there. Good header won by Davis, but it bounces comfortably into the arms of goalkeeper Joe Hart, and it remains 3-2 for now. Right, let's go to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in North London. Tottenham hosting Brighton this afternoon. Good afternoon, Jonathan Overend.
Hello, Connor. Tottenham unchanged from the team which gave 2 points away at Everton, but they don't have too many options, do they? Richarlison is fit for the bench though today. McAllister and Caicedo both fit for Brighton after knocks at Bournemouth. Welbeck for Ferguson, Colwill for Webster.
2 teams in the top 6 there. 2 teams who still have a chance of getting in the top 4. We'll be with Jonathan regularly throughout the afternoon for the updates from Tottenham against Brighton.
It's very noticeable. Celtic have changed their system quite noticeably. O has gone to play centre forward. Kyogo's playing almost as a number 10 behind, breaking from deep.
Here comes Celtic. Green and white out, streaming forward. Made his first touch, brings him into the penalty area. Good defending Ben Davis. No margin for error there. So easily he could have given away a penalty, but he makes the challenge and he comes away with possession, and Rangers' hopes of remaining in this title race are dangling by a thread, and you can see the nerves. Ryan Jack gives away possession with a poor pass in the midfield. Kyogo's played deep in midfield at the moment as Celtic tried to reinforce this 3-2 lead. Here comes Greg Taylor. Back to Alistair Johnson. Oh, they're going to give it away here, Celtic. That was silly. Ryan Kent into the penalty area. Morelos turns, gives it back to Kent. Back to Morelos again. Too many defenders. They can't get the angle for the shot there, Rangers. It bounces up onto the hand of Kent. Referee says no, handball and play on. Here's Ryan Jack back into the penalty area. Sakala tries to cross low from the left-hand side. Johnson holds him up well. Sakala then stretches and gives away the free kick. And Celtic, for all their fast play, I'm sure will take their time over this one. Free kick to Celtic. The clock ticks on. 6 minutes plus the stoppages to go. Pat Nevin.
Everything's been thrown at kitchen sink, and 3 more substitutes for Rangers and a couple for Celtic as well. You can see that there's a lot of players tired out there. The effort they made, they put into it has been absolutely incredible so far. But it's going to be a real breathless last 5, 6, maybe 10 minutes.
Well, there's a whole host of players coming on here. 2 substitutions for Celtic, 3 for Rangers. Turnbull and Bernabei are about to come on. John Lundstrom is coming on. So David Turnbull on in place of Kyogo. There'll be no hat-trick for him today. While we sort out these substitutes, a little break in play. Feels like a good time to get an update from the golf to Augusta, to correspondent Ian Carter.
And Tiger Woods on course to maintain his proud record of always making the cut as a professional at the Masters. He's right on the tightrope. 2 over par is the cut mark, but he's come up with a brilliant birdie at the 15th. Despite his approach shot hitting the flag, hold from around about 25 feet, that birdie takes him to 1 over par. A little bit of breathing space for Woods, on course to make the weekend.
Thanks very much, Ian. Coverage with Ian and Chappers and John Murray, Alistair Bruceball, Cat Downs, all bringing us that commentary later on this evening. As Joe Hart takes a free kick inside the Celtic penalty area, right-footed, long and searching down the other end. Bjorn Barisic will do well to shepherd this out, and he does. And goal kick to Rangers. The clock ticks on, just over 4 minutes of normal time to play here. Something's happened off the field of play there as they got the ball back to McGregor to take the goal kick. There was a coming together, 2 players, but I'm not quite sure what happened there. But it's okay. No further action has been taken. Haksabanovic and Barisic were getting in a little Montenegrin Croatian dance down there as the ball goes out of play in front of us. And Rangers want the ball back in play as quickly as they can. Any little break in play, they're hustling for it. Lundstrom, who's come on as a substitute into the midfield. John Lundstrom, who's played in all but one of Rangers' Scottish Premiership games this season, number 4 in his bag. It's launched forward towards Fashion Sakala, but all he can do is flick it on and out for a goal kick. And Celtic, Pat Nevin, are almost there.
They're almost there, but they're not quite there. And all the changes that have been made here, it's all about getting players on that can do that job, so that they can hold off the kind of the pressure that Rangers are going to put on. They've got Cholak on now, so they've got another player that they can go and attack. Trying to figure out who all the players are. 5 substitutions made.
Scott Wright has come on, Antonio Cholak's come on, John Lundstrom's come on, with Bernabei and Haksabanovic and Turnbull on, and Iwata as well, and for Celtic. As clearance from Joe Hart is unable to be kept in play by Haksabanovic, and it goes out for a Rangers throw on the far side. 3 minutes to play. Surely not long enough for Michael Beale's team to score the 2 goals they would need here to get the 3 points and to reduce the deficit in the table to just 6. I mean, it's a big difference, 12 and 6. Huge difference in the possible outcome here. Even the moral victory, which probably won't mean much in the greater string of things for the title race, but for the progression that Beale is making as manager of Rangers, if they could get the draw here, that would certainly dampen the party mood for Celtic today. On what is a lovely sunny afternoon in Glasgow, the Celtic supporters are ready to spill out into the environs around here and celebrate a victory in the Old Firm. Goal kick from McGregor. Rangers need to get it down the other end.
Yep, they're really struggling to get it going again. You make those substitutions because you want to get that one last real big go at it, but it can stop. You've had a little bit of momentum before that. That can stop.
Cameron Carter-Vickers backpedaling to the edge of his own penalty area, beats Cholak in the air. Now, maybe an opportunity for Bernabei. He's going to run into the penalty area here. This can seal it. What was he doing there? He tried to pull it back, but there was no teammate. In the end, it's picked up by Alan McGregor. Bernabei's made a right hash of that, and that could have put the game to bed.
Yeah, he did everything right. His pace was brilliant. He put him through fantastically well. 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper, draws the goalkeeper, and then passes it to no one. I just think he panicked.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. He's only been on the field maybe 2 minutes. He wasn't ready for a moment like that. Alexandre Bernabé. Might Celtic live to regret that one as we prepare to move into the final minute of the 90. Stoppages to come as well. Tavernier with a free kick near the halfway line. Sends it in. Plenty of backspin. Comes down on the edge of the penalty area. John Souttar wins the header, but he can't pick out a teammate, and that harmlessly trickles out for a goal kick to Celtic. Many of the supporters taking off the tops, bouncing up and down in the sunshine now. The buoyant party mood, the belief growing that they can now celebrate as we move into the final 45 seconds of normal time.
Well, you often will look at a game near the end and some people try and get away early. Nobody has walked out of this ground.
No.
They are looking forward to the celebration at the end of this game, these Celtic fans. And even if there were Rangers fans here, they wouldn't be allowed out.
The incredibly high standards that have been set and maintained by Ange Postecoglou. A team we've got such belief in, even with a very spirited Rangers performance today. They at times have put Celtic under a lot of pressure. But Postecoglou's team have held firm. 3-2 the Celtic lead as we prepare to move into stoppages. The fourth official has come out with his board and ready to tell us what's going to be added on. It'll be 5 minutes, 5 additional minutes to go. And it already feels like the party has started, Pat.
I was going to say the minimum you'd have expected there with all the substitutions, but to be honest, there's not been that many injuries and players just haven't stayed down, so it's stayed lively.
And chases on here. Bundles into the back of Souttar and is deemed to have fouled him. Souttar put the brakes on there, and right into the back of him. Referee gives the free kick to Rangers. They've got to get it down the other end. In the midfield, Scott Wright, one of the recent substitutes, crowded out of it by opponents. Čolek though keeps it alive. Chance to cross by Barisic from the left hand side. Awkward one for Cameron Carter-Vickers. It bounced low in front of him. He just stooped right down, but he headed it out of the box, and Alistair Johnson is able to clear it away. Anywhere will do for Celtic now. Just clear the lines. Raskin with a good turn for Rangers, who aren't giving up here. Ball into the penalty area. Fashion Sakala, there's no one marking him. And then the shot comes in. The flag was raised anyway. It would have been offside. Shot from Čolek goes wide. Free kick to Celtic. Was that Rangers' last chance?
Well, there's a whole 4 minutes to go yet. There's plenty of time for Rangers to get another chance. I mean, you can see that there was a bit of I don't think it was great defending there. Sakala, I think he just went too early. There was time, the ball was played to the back post, but he's so keen to get in there that he's went a yard too early. Assistant referee has called it for offside, got it right, and the Rangers just with that determination to get the ball in there, just too excitable.
Rangers have only lost 2 league games all season, but today will be the day that it slips away from them, the faint hope that they've been carrying, that maybe, just maybe, they could battle Celtic right to the very end. Iwata's ball down the left-hand side for Bernabé, challenged by Tavernier, who's claiming the last touch came off the Celtic man. The officials disagree. Celtic's throw has been given. Here is Haksabanovic, and then he's taken down on the edge of the penalty area. Celtic get a free kick. They'll take the time over this. Gives us the opportunity to get the full-time report from Old Trafford. Manchester United against Everton and Maz Faruqi.
Yeah, and it's finished Manchester United 2, Everton 0. Back-to-back wins in the space of 4 days, revitalising Eric Ten Hag's side push for the top 4. Goals either side of half-time from Scott McTominay and Anthony Martial. Full-time Manchester United 2, Everton 0.
Just over half an hour to go until the 3 o'clock kickoffs get underway. We'll be all over that here on 5 Live as we watch the closing embers of this game at Celtic Park. 5-goal thriller. And deep into stoppages now. Celtic with an attacking free kick and not one Celtic player in the penalty area. They're all getting ready to protect it around the corner flag.
It's so unusual to see Celtic do that. It's just never do it. It's so unusual how they put a player in the middle there. They're willing to kill time, willing to try and waste as much as possible just now.
This is Turnbull dribbling into the penalty area, and
offside.
It would have been offside as the pass was played to him. Free kick to Rangers. Tavernier's not giving up. He's had a storming game, a storming season for James Tavernier. 2 goals today away at Celtic. First time he scored in the league at this ground. But it's not going to be enough. Interception and a chance to break forward again. Haksabanovic in front of Turnbull. 2 players with fresh legs having recently come on. Dangerous low delivery is put out by Souttar for a corner. Celtic with oxygen in their lungs and with energy in their tanks laid on here against a Rangers team that have given it everything.
It's part exhaustion for Rangers there, but it's also part, had to leave 4 players up there when they had the ball. There was no point in going back. Just hope the defenders can cope with it. They did manage to cope. Celtic have now got a corner kick with nobody in the box.
Over the course of this season, Rangers have come back to win 24 points from losing positions, more than any other team in the top flight in Scotland. But despite coming from 1-0 down today to make it 1-1, Celtic's quality has shone through. They've taken their key moments. Clinical finishing from Kyogo and Jota. That's been the difference. A highly competitive game, but Celtic have just had too much. Free kick to Rangers, 12 yards inside the Celtic half.
And Rangers have to get good quality in here. They were just about to take a shot there. That doesn't look like a sensible thing for me to do. So they're going to wait, put the ball in the middle and attack it again.
Last weekend Celtic scored in the 95th minute. Here they are defending, hoping that Rangers won't get the late equaliser. Ben Davies has done well to win a header. Flicked on by Wright too, but it's head tennis on the edge of the penalty area. Celtic tried to get it away. This is Ryan Kent, taken down on the edge of the area. Free kick to Rangers. Shooting position too. Barisic might fancy this one with his left leg. The drama is not over yet.
I thought they might get one more chance. It's not a brilliant angle. It's a little bit further out than Barisic would prefer. I mean, Tavernier may look at it, just from an angle where he could put it into the near post. He's already beaten Hart from about 23 yards earlier on in the game. He must be tempted, but it's a natural one for Barisic with the left foot.
Apart from the free kick scored by Tavernier, this is the next best position of a set piece that Rangers have had in the game. Might prove to be the final action of the game. Is there to be a late dramatic equaliser for 3-3 here at Celtic Park? There is an enormous wall being erected. It's got layers to it. It's got draft excluders. It's got Rangers and Celtic players in it. Joe Hart trying to peer through it all to keep his eye. Barisic too high, much too high. Rangers not good enough. Glance at the watch of the referee. No full-time whistle yet, but a roar of relief from the Celtic fans. As now it is all over. Celtic 3, Rangers 2. For only the third time this season, Rangers taste defeat in the league, but the gap at the top becomes 12 points.
Yeah, you look at it over the piece. I mean, it's a great game of football, very, very entertaining. You got the 5 goals, there's plenty else happening as well, a lot of good football. But Celtic have got someone special in Kyogo. He has been in many ways the difference between the two sides for quite some time now. And he scores 2 very, very good goals there. Partly Rangers are on downfall for making mistakes at the back. Rangers are getting closer in terms of pure play, but they're not close enough. And in terms of points, it now looks absolutely miles away between the two teams.
Remember, no away fans in here. This is normally the time when the supporters will be taunting each other, and you can discuss the merits or otherwise of that, but what it has left us is with a pure party situation now. Celtic celebrate. They are now 4 wins away from guaranteeing the title. They may not even need that many. Their record of winning every home league game this season continues. Only the second time in the club's history that they have won 16 out of 16 home games. Those have been the high standards, and standards that have been held up today. 2 goals from Kyogo, 1 from Jota. Celtic have beaten Rangers by 3 goals to 2.
Pat Nevin, you said it there. The difference is Kyogo. What a performance.
Yeah, no, he is extraordinary. I mean, there was a point, I think he'd had about 8 touches and 3 of them had been in the net. One of them was chopped off. He is an extraordinary player, and his work rate, like all the other players in that team, is right up with the standards that Ange Postecoglou asked for. And it is done in the Celtic way, very attack-minded. This is why these fans not only love the team winning, but they love the way they are winning as well. I'm not going to give them the league title just now. You don't do that until you can do it mathematically. However, Celtic seriously deserve it because it has been an ultra positive. But when you've got someone like Kyogo up front, wow, there's a lot of teams will be looking out for him. They must do everything they possibly can to keep him at Celtic Park if they want to do well, not only next season and try and win another league, but also to do well in Europe.
I was literally about to give him the league title, to be honest, Pat, so I will hold off on doing that. But Roddy, with the lead of 12 points with 7 games to go, you know, mathematically it's not quite there yet, but this is the day in front of only their fans that they may well end up reflecting as the day they secured it.
Well, they're celebrating today. I guarantee they'll celebrate it again at some stage shortly. And we're talking about the points difference, but have a look at the goal difference. Celtic have a goal difference of 75, Rangers 46. Pat's stressing how important Kyogo is for Celtic. And it tells you something that their forward is the man who is the idol of the crowd. James Tavernier scored his 100th goal for Rangers today. Extraordinary from a fullback, but really what Rangers need is a Kyogo. And they thought they had it in Morelos the season before last. That's what's missing from most of the Rangers fans. When you ask them, what do we want? They won't say Kyogo if they can help it, but that's what they mean.
And on Tavernier, Pat, I've always thought when Tavernier plays well, Rangers play well, but even a top-tier performance from him wasn't enough.
You're absolutely right. There have been times, and many times actually, against Celtic, he's been beneath his best, and usually because he's against a good team and they're not attacking as much as they usually do. But today, he really put in the shift. Obviously, the brilliant goal from the free kick, but he chased everything, got the second goal as well, dragged his team back into the game. I mean, he made Maeda's life very, very tough, because Maeda is a very good player, had very little impact going forward, comparison to what he usually does. But in the fact Tavernier nearly got his hat-trick near the end when he attacked the ball on the right-hand side from a cross in, shows you, yeah, he's an important player. As Roddy says, if your big danger is your right fullback, there's a problem. And there's a problem if you're going to win leagues against a very good team. Yeah, he played well. I think Rangers played well today. I think they fought, they battled, and I've seen them collapse many times at Celtic Park under, you know, particularly since Postecoglou come on board. However, they didn't collapse today, but they still weren't quite good enough. Celtic look as if they're a very good team, but Celtic will get better under Postecoglou, because when they lose a player or when they sell a player, they get one as good or maybe even better. The players that they have brought in have been fantastic, and the depth of the squad is very special. Rangers are a distance behind.
And Connor, just to finish back on Kyogo, in commentary Pat was talking about when he arrived, he seemed like this little shy lad. He's just been giving it the big and right in front of the Celtic fans.
No, look, they have taken him to their hearts. You know, I mean, we've seen it so many times through the years. There's a certain alchemy when you get players on the wavelength of each other, and for whatever it is, Kyogo has settled here, and he's looked so instinctive and just so efficient in front of goal. Up to 25, he might have even had more today. He's a special player, and there is no doubt, you know, they are going to hold him in such enormous high esteem, but he's so good that he's going to tempt others, and he turned 28 in January. He's absolutely in his peak now. Big battle for Celtic to hold on to a player who is a goal machine.
Connor, Pat, Roddy, thank you all very much indeed. So Celtic go 12 points clear.